जानामि धर्मं न च मे प्रवृत्तिः जानामि अधर्मं न च मे निवृत्तिः केनापि देवेन हृदि स्थितेन यथा नियुक्तोऽस्मि तथा करोमि. This is one of the famous dialogues of Duryodhana from Mahabharata, where he says that I know what is the right thing to do, but it's not my habit. I mean, I don't want to give up, and I also know what is wrong, but I don't want to give up on adharma. And the reason for this, he says, is there is some God which is sitting in my heart, and whatever he says, I'm going to do that. And this seems to be like the behavior of all the people, including myself, that we always know what is the right thing, but we are not doing that actually. We just do whatever we feel like doing. And I feel this is you know the essence of Mahabharata, or the large or the big message out of it, about human nature. And so I felt there should be like a discussion about Mahabharata with someone who knows it better than me. And so for that, today Prajakta is joining me for this discussion. So Prajakta, like, tell us about you before we start this.
Okay. So this is Prajukta, and I am actually a business consultant with Infosys, but I do have a lot of interest in Indian mythology and Indian epics, which I very recently realized that it is actually part of our itihasa as well. So, what is itihasa and what is history? History is, as we know, something that has happened on the face of earth and that has been documented. But amongst the texts that is relevant to Hindu literature, only 2 texts have been called as epics. The other texts have been called Vedas or Upanishads or Puranas, etc. Only these 2 texts have been called epics because they have been narrated in a way that it has happened on the face of earth. Both Ramayana has been given all the references of the places that are there in India today on earth, and Mahabharata as well. We have all the references that are there on earth. So that's why there's a difference between between mythology and itihasa. Okay, so mythology,
I mean, the
is
same
something.
thing. I think one of my other guests were also said, like, in the podcast about Ramayana, that history is something which is usually seen from the Western perspective, but many people do believe that Mahabharata is part of the Indian history. But yeah, so my first question for you was, what do you think of? Do you think that janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi janami adharmam nachame nivrittihi? It's like is it like the big idea coming out of Mahabharata, or is it like just one of the smaller things which one kind of notices from this epic?
So, according to me, this is one of the ideas, but not one of the big ideas, according to me. This is one idea. Why? Because all of us have been struggling with the dilemma of either being righteous or doing the right thing, what feels right at that moment, right? What feels right at that moment may not be righteous. So, there are two words, dharma and karma, right? So, dharma is that even if it hurts you, even if it takes you through a path which is not comforting for you, you still choose to do it. And then there is karma. Whatever you do, be ready to face the consequence of it. Okay, so now one very big tussle that is there throughout the whole of Mahabharata is who should be throned as the king, right? If you go by dharma, someone who is fit to be a leader, someone who is loved by the people, they should be made the king, right? That also sounds correct. Now another aspect is someone who is the firstborn to the current king, right? They should be made the king. So the first ideology was Vidur's, Bhishma's, Krishna's ideology. The second ideology was Dhritarashtra's, Duryodhan's, Shakuni's, his brother's ideology, that I am the eldest born, I should be made the king. My father was the eldest born, he was made the king. But when Vidur, Dhritarashtra and Pandu came back after their learnings from Bhishma, first thing Bhishma wanted to do was put a king on the throne, because it had been throneless for almost, for more than 10 years. So that time Dhritarashtra was a blind person, right? Now, a king who has a disability, and then there is a king who does not have any disability, but he's the younger child. Who is more fit to be a king?
The one who is fit.
Yes, who is overall fit. Like you and I, we are saying that, right?
Yeah.
But does Dhritarashtra think that way? He thinks, I am the elder brother, I should be the heir to the throne.
Yeah, power is
Right.
like seductive.
Yes. So then Vidur very clearly says that dharma teaches us that a leader who is fit all around, like mentally, physically, intellectually, one who is fit completely, they should be made the king. So by that logic, Pandu should be made the king. So from there on starts Dhritarashtra's struggle with not just his blindness or with dharma, with jealousy. One thing which drives our actions is matsarya, meaning jealousy. Okay, so those 7 sins that are there, no? All of these characters, some or the other time, they struggle with one of these sins at some or the
So
other
then
time.
what is the big idea out of Mahabharata?
The big idea of Mahabharata is dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. You protect dharma, dharma protects you. You try to harm dharma, dharma will also harm you. Meaning, you do whatever you want to do. Be ready for the consequence. If you don't walk on the righteous path, don't expect righteous things to happen back to you. For example, in the end of Mahabharata, Duryodhan and Bhim have this duel, the Gada duel, right? The mace duel. In that, in the mace duel, there is a rule that you can't hit your opponent below the waist. So what happens is Duryodhan lunges. At that very moment, Bhim hurls his mace and hits his thighs. Okay? And that was when Duryodhan screams that full time you people did dharma, dharma, dharma. You people were like, we are doing all this for dharma, and only when it came to me, you people became adharmi. You are supporting adharma. So look at Duryodhan's stance now. Throughout the Mahabharata, he has done everything that is adharmic in nature. But when it came to him, he suddenly started saying that, where is your dharma? So Krishna also gives him back in his own, language. He says, shate shatanam samachare. That you will get back how you behave. The language you will speak, you will also get back in the same language only. Where was your dharma when you tried to kill these people in the wax palace? Where was your dharma when you were trying to kill Bhim, when you poisoned him? Where was your dharma when you disrobed Draupadi? Now you are remembering dharma. So that was when Krishna says this dialogue, that dharmo rakshati rakshita. So this, according to me, is the central idea of Mahabharata.
Great. Because, see, I had this doubt because I did not read or delve into Mahabharata so much, because there was no book of Mahabharata in my house. There was only Ramayana was there. And apparently, I didn't develop so much interest to, go and find this, because even in my school library, I don't think I found a Mahabharata copy. And then everything, college, this thing, everything went on, and I never developed an interest. And I already had a great deal of interest in Ramayana. So I think even in the popular media, I was exposed more to Ramayana, and I just uh, totally ignored Mahabharata as such. And I didn't even know the basic storyline of it even after turning 24. So I just bought one version of Ark and Aran, which was like some 200 pages, and I got to know the basic plot of Mahabharata at 24. And I think I was also like influenced more by idealistic things, and like I don't know, I thought Ramana is the more idealistic. It has more idealistic characters. Like they're not, there are some cunning parts of it, but largely the characters are all idealistic. Even Ravana has ideals for, whatever reason. Um so I was not exposed to Mahabharata, and uh, but when were you exposed to Mahabharata? And I know you have a very interesting story of how you came about
Yeah.
knowing it so deeply.
Yeah. So, regarding what you said about idealistic, Mahabharata will teach you that not everything is black and white. This epic is full of everyone
Yeah,
has
I
gray.
badly needed
Everyone
that
has gray.
awareness.
Okay. And that will not come as a child, for sure. Because as children, what? We are always at home, there are rules, at school, there are rules, we have to grow up with a certain discipline. So at that time, we don't develop that intellect also to see things in a gray manner. But since my childhood, it was my grandmothers who introduced me to Mahabharata firstly. It was imparted to me verbally only. It's a great story to be told if you have to put a kid to sleep, because there are demons, there are so many wars happening. There are a few points of comedy also in it, and on top of that, actually, the most softest part of Mahabharata, which you expose a child to, is the Krishna Leela. Okay, there are very beautiful stories. Okay, like as a grown up now, I'm realizing that even as a little kid, Krishna tried to teach us so many things. For example, there was a time when he was caught eating mud. Okay, and this is my favorite story, which my grandmothers told me. My dadi told me actually. She said to me that Mata Yashoda once caught Krishna eating eating mud. Okay, so he doesn't budge. He starts running, and he's like, like he's happy. He's still happy. There's all mud all over his face, and then he is like, Yashoda is like very angry. Okay, she goes like, Lalla, tune mitti khayo, and what happens? He doesn't budge, right? He doesn't stop there. So she catches hold of him, and she tries to tie him to a oakley. Okay. Oakley is that it's like a big pestle and mortar in which the masalas are made. So she tries to tie him to that, and every time she tries to tie him, the rope is just 2 fingers short. Every single time she gets all the ropes from her house, but every single time that rope is short by 2 fingers.
She can tie one rope to another rope.
She does that. Does that. So she finally, she's like, कि लल्ला तू क्यों ना बंध रहे हो? तू क्यों ना बंध रहे हो? Every time. And finally he sees, यार मेरी माँ है. Okay, he gets tied up in the end. Now my my dadi asked me that why only 2 ungli, beta? Why only 2 ungli? It would have been a whole palm width of difference, right? Why only 2 fingers? So I was a kid. I was say 6, 7. So I was like, I don't know. So then my grandmother said that when you have to do your sadhana for any god, you need to give up 2 things: your name and your ego. Only when Mata Yashoda gives up, like she is totally tired, like she is in the most vulnerable, most in the state of like surrender, that is when actually God gets tied up. So what she tried to teach me was that when you go to God, you need to leave your name and your ego in the steps of the temple. She wanted to teach me this. And because of all these stories, Krishna was like one of those characters which I would be very much, intrigued to listen to. right? Because he was the guiding light for the Pandavas throughout the Yudh, right? Throughout the war. But my first exposure to Mahabharata was Amar Chitra Katha's Mahabharata. I couldn't read the whole thing because there were just, I think, some select volumes available. I was on a trip to Delhi that time. So actually it became very close to my heart also because I had met with an accident while on the trip.
What?
So yeah, I had met with an accident while on the trip, and because to distract myself, I saw that they had these books. My host had these books, and I just picked out those books and I started reading them. Like because I was on a bed rest for 2 days. That's how I came across reading Mahabharata, and it was my father's very desperate attempt to make me and my brother very I don't know what kind of children he wanted to raise. He exposed us to Mahabharata, and his strategy was a hit because I and my brother, we got hooked to it. Okay, and there's one particular episode of Mahabharata, B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, which is about Bhim meeting Hidimba. That particular episode has been shot, it is back in 1980s. Still, they have made such good CGI effects in that episode that my brother and I always have fun watching that particular CD. Why? Because Bhim kills 2 demons. He kills Hidimba and he also kills Bakasur. So it's like a good episode for the both of us because we also see Bhim's very soft side also. What happens is, it's right after the Wax Palace incident, and these people have escaped from the Wax Palace, and everyone has thought that these Pandavas and Kunti have perished in the fire. So these people have changed their clothes and they have become like, Vanvasis, and they have to walk on foot. So
yeah, we'll come to the summary of it because everyone won't
so
know summary.
basically, I mean, my exposure to Mahabharata was majorly because of B.R. Chopra. I would have to give him all the credit that B.R. Chopra is the main person because of whom I know so much of Mahabharata. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, you didn't tell about that TV cable being removed from your house, right? That was the interesting part.
Okay.
Anyway, so I mean, I know Mahabharata is a very huge, very huge story with so many sub-stories in it, and it has so many complex backstories as well. So why don't you just tell us a very, very brief summary of Mahabharata which captures all the major events, like the big events which drive the story, not the backstory and sub-story and all of that.
Okay. So, one of the main themes of this Mahabharata, like I said, it was dharma and karma.
Yeah.
There was one more term which was very much used called janma. Okay. So, it was being said throughout the story that you get what you deserve through your karma, not because of your janma. Okay, just because you were born royalty doesn't mean you will stay royal or you will get the throne. Okay, you can be a normal minister's kid, but if you depict leadership qualities that of a king, okay, that of a kshatriya, then a king should rightfully make that minister's son as his heir. And that is what Raja Bharat did. He had 8 sons. Despite that, he does not make any of his sons the heir to his throne. He is the son of King Dushyant and Shakuntala. Okay, and Shakuntala was actually angry with him. She tells him, 8 sons you have given, like you have in your family, you don't want to give any of them your throne. So this king actually set the precedent that no, you have to be eligible for it. You shouldn't have to be born for getting the throne. He set the precedent. Now Shantanu comes, King Shantanu, who is the first king of this story, like whose dynasty we will be talking about. So King Shantanu, he also does the same thing. He meets Ganga Maya. He finds out that after getting married to her, Ganga Maya says that you will not question me ever, whatever I do. The moment you question me, I will leave you and I'm going to go to the heaven. So what happens? She conceives her first child. She drowns him. Like that, she conceives 7 children. Okay, 6 children. And when she was going to drown the 7th child, Shantanu couldn't stop himself. He was like, what kind of a woman are you? Like, mother, leave it. What kind of a woman are you? You're drowning your own children. Like, have you no mercy? So then she tells the backstory that, okay, these were like some heavenly beings who had been given some curse to be born on earth. Because they're heavenly beings, it is a curse for them being born on earth. So she was actually giving them mukti. Now she looks at the 7th kid and she's like, I think I should name him Bhishma. Bhishma means something tough. Bhishma means Bhishan. Okay, she names him that because she foresees that, okay, now that I won't be able to drown him and you have already questioned me, I think he has to stay on earth and he has to pay for the sins that he had committed. So she takes the son along with her. She gives him, tutorial from, like, basically under the tutelage of Parshuram. She takes him under the tutelage of Brihaspati. All of these, big whoever are considered heavenly teachers. She takes to all of them, and one fine day when he's of the age to become the heir to the throne, she comes, introduces him to Shantanu, and Shantanu is very happy that, okay, he has his son back, he has the heir apparent to the throne also back, right? But he does that he makes him the Yuvraj, the heir apparent. But right after that, he meets Satyavati, Shantanu, and falls madly in love with her. But there what happens? Satyavati's father, the fisherman community's king, he is like, okay, my daughter shouldn't be considered like the secondary queen or something. Okay, what is the guarantee that your son is going to give, my daughter will never be considered royalty because none of her sons are going to become the kings. None of her sons will become kings because Bhishma is there. Bhishma's dynasty is going to ask for rights, right? So I don't think my daughter can marry you. So Shantanu says, no, I'm not going to go against it because my heir apparent is not just my son. He's the people's to be king. I cannot do that with them. Okay, it's not my decision alone. So he moves on. He tries to forget Satyavati. He cannot. He even turns, he starts looking old because of the tension and because of the distress that he's in. Bhishma cannot see this. He goes to Satyavati's father, promises him that whatever you want, you will get. You don't want my children to ask for the throne. You don't want me to sit on the throne. I'm renouncing my Yuvraj Valapad. You want my children not to ask for the right? Fine. I will stay a brahmachari for the rest of my life. Okay? And that was when actually he was named Devvrat. Actually, when he was born, he was named Devvrat, but because of this particular pratigya, okay, the pratigya, the promise that he makes, and it was a very difficult pratigya to make, staying brahmachari for the rest of your life. And he says that I am going to stay like loyal to the throne. Whatever it is going to be, my dharma will be towards the throne, towards the protection of the throne. So because of taking such a big promise like this, he was given the name Bhishma. And the fisherman community's king, he agrees, okay, and Satyavati and Shantanu get married. They have 2 children, out of which the older son, he gets killed in a war. The younger son, Vichitravirya, okay, he actually dies of a certain terminal illness. But right before that, what happens? Bhishma goes to Kashi and he abducts the 3 princesses of Kashi, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. Now Amba was actually in love with another king, Shalva, the king of Shalva. Okay, so now she had been already abducted, but when she reaches Hastinapur, Amba speaks up. She says that, look, my sisters might have accepted you, King Vichitravirya, but I don't accept you as my husband. I was in love with Shalva. So she was very respectfully sent to Shalva. But that king, out of ego, says that, you know what, you've been already taken, like you're second hand now for me, so I am not going to marry you. Now she says that, okay, the man who had the galls to abduct me was Bhishma, so I want to marry Bhishma now. Now this is a very significant event. Why? Because Amba, of course, Bhishma had taken a promise. He's not going to bow down to Amba's request. So Amba actually takes a promise of her own. She does a pratigya of her own. That even if I have to take multiple rebirths, I will be the reason you die. Okay? And she leaves. Now Vichitra Virya dies right after that. Now there has to be like an heir to the throne, right? There's no heir to the throne. Even Satyavati comes and tells Bhishma that, why don't you take up the throne? And Bhishma is like, my promise, like my words are my worth. It's not just like that. No, I've gotten and like I've given a promise to my father. And actually, because of taking such a promise, Shantanu had actually given Bhishma a boon of Ichha Mrityu. Okay, now this is also a very important thing regarding Bhishma. So like this, what happens?
Ichha Mrityu means he can die whenever he wants to die.
Yes. Ichha Mrityu means, like even though he's like completely wounded, only when he gives up on his breath does his life leave him. Okay, now what happens? Vedavyasa is actually a son of Satyavati's. Now there's a small backstory to it which I'll not go into, but I'll just say that Vedavyas was Satyavati's son. He comes to visit her at that time. So she tells him, why don't you copulate with my daughter-in-laws? Because we need a heir to the throne.
Who has to copulate? Bhishma.
Vedavyas. So what happens is Vedavyas was actually, he was doing penance. So he was not in a good shape. Like he looked very shabby, a lot of the beard, and he had a lot of mud on his face, and he was not in a look that a woman would get attracted to him and would even copulate or even go close to him, right? Now, when Ambika goes to him, of course, they are convinced, their consent is taken, all of that is done. Now, Ambika was sent to Vedvyas. As soon as Vedvyas holds her hand, she closes her eyes. Okay? And
because he is still ugly.
He's ugly. He's not attractive at all.
Like, why doesn't he take a bath?
Okay.
And go for a shave?
So, see, that only Vedavyasa can answer. Good question actually. Why Vedavyas did not take a bath, or why Mata Satyavati did not give him time to, groom himself. She was actually in a hurry. That because, see, other enemies are also there now.
One they will try day, 2 hours it takes to take a bath and
exactly. See, even see the way it has been depicted is he was in a Ugra sadhana for a whole year. So maybe in Ugra sadhana, usually what happens on the sages, even ants make anthills on top of them. So they have boils and everything all over their body.
Okay.
So all of the things happen. So we don't know how Ugra his Ugra sadhana was, right? So Ambika actually closes her eyes. So after he copulates with her, Vedavyasa says to Satyavati that, look, she looked at, like when she came close to me, she closed her eyes. So I am prophesizing that the child that will be born will be blind. Okay? Then Ambalika comes to him. Now Ambalika, when she looks at him, the blood drains out of her face. Okay, like she gets scared and stunned. So the blood drains out of her face. She goes pale. So what happens? He does it with her again, and then he goes to Satyavati and says, "Look, when Ambalika came to me, she turned pale. So it might so happen that the child that is born may not be so healthy." Okay.
Come on, yaar, what is this?
Yeah.
If he already knows all of this, then he should have warned them in advance, right?
Yeah, so this thing, see, prophesizing can be like a guesswork also, na? So
like
maybe
he could have taken a bath.
Exactly, see, this I have never thought of, that why he didn't take a bath or why he was not allowed to take a bath. Then comes the Dasi who had come along with Ambika and Ambalika from Kashi, like their personal maid,
Servant.
right? I don't remember her name so well, but she was also sent to Vedvyas.
Why? She's not
Okay.
married to the king, no?
No. So what happens is these two queens, they didn't want to go to him again. They were like, "Bhai, you go now." They send her. Okay. And when she goes, she is like unfazed. She's totally unfazed. She has absolutely no blood draining. She doesn't close her eyes. Nothing. Okay. And Vedvyasa is like, you know what? Probably the child that is born out of her, don't consider that person like a das putra or something, like as a maid's kid or something. Give him the same treatment that the other two boys are going to get. Okay, so now as soon as they are born and they are of age, like they are little boys, they go with Bhishma to the Gurukul, and he's their main teacher. He teaches politics
Who are these three kids? No?
So the three kids who are born, Ambika has Dhritarashtra, Ambalika has Pandu, and their maid, she has Vidur. Okay, so Vidur learns history, politics, geography, all the academic things from Bhishma. Pandu learns archery, about running a country, finances, how to run a treasury, all these things from Bhishma. And Dhritarashtra learns, he also learns archery and the other weapons, but the most that he works on is his hearing. The way, the intensity of his hearing was because you lose one sense, so you have another sense elevated, right? So so that was what he trained himself in, that the hearing power is like higher. And yes, he does learn the basic things that a kshatriya, a prince, should learn. So these three, when they learn all these things, and they all are very good looking boys, okay, good looking boys, fit men, they look like kshatriyas, okay. So when they come back, Vidur was made the part of the darbar, like he was made the minister. Okay, and now the question of who to make the king, Dhritarashtra or Pandu, arises. So Bhishma knew his three students, right? So he knew who is capable of what. He knew how much jealousy or insecurity Dhritarashtra is capable of, right? And he knew how giving Pandu can be.
Who is the eldest son now?
Eldest son is Dhritarashtra.
Okay.
The next son is Pandu, and the youngest is Vidur. So here Bhishma very nonchalantly, he says that okay, now it's time that we make Dhritarashtra the king. We should make preparations for throning him, making him the crowning him. Vidur interrupts. He says that no, Pitama, I can't make you commit this mistake. It's not just about the family, it's about Hastinapur. Hastinapur is the kingdom at stake here. It's the main central character. Hastinapur in itself is a whole character in this story. So we need to think of Hastinapur, and Hastinapur needs an able-bodied king. Why would you make Dhritarashtra the king? He's a blind person. He cannot go to a war battlefield and he cannot fight like that, like how Pandu can, how readily Pandu can, right? And you need to instill some confidence in people also. What will people, how will people have confidence on a blind king? When you have a choice of a king who is able-bodied, right? So here Bhishma doesn't say anything more. Pandu, it's decided that Pandu becomes the king. And Dhritarashtra also very, he gives up. In his mind he gives up and he says, yes, Vidur is correct. Why shouldn't Pandu be the king? Okay, Dhritarashtra also gives up. He doesn't fights. He doesn't fight that, okay, I'm the eldest, I should be the king. No. He gives up. He's like, yes, Vidur is correct. We have to think of Hastinapur, not our personal agendas. Now here, firstly, Pandu marries Kunti. Kunti was actually the adopted daughter of Raja Kunti Bhoj. So once Rishi Durvasa comes to their kingdom and she actually does seva for him. So he gets really happy and gives her a mantra. Upon chanting that mantra, whichever celestial god Kunti wants to call to earth, they have to come. And she can ask for any boon she wants. So now she gets very restless that okay, I want to use it. Like does it even work? Like she's very restless, okay. And she keeps looking at the sun. That's the first celestial body that she looks at. That's always there, like from a window she can see it. So she chants that mantra, okay, and wishes that manifests that okay, that the Surya Dev should visit her. So he comes. Okay, so here this is like part of a folklore, I believe. I don't think it actually this must have happened, but okay. So how the folklore of this part goes is that he comes,
there'll be some fantasy.
Yes. So how it goes is that he comes. Kunti tells to him that okay, now that I see, okay, it works. Please go back. I'm sorry for inconveniencing you. So he says that no, without giving you any boon, I can't go. Okay, this Durvasa's mantra is so powerful that if I do break the rule, the balance of this universe will get harmed. So she's like, whatever boon you want to give, you give me and leave. I don't want to disrupt anything, please leave. So he says that okay, I'll give you a son. He
could have given her a mango.
Something yes, exactly. But then Kunti is like, she protests actually. She says that why will you give me a son? I mean, I'm an unmarried woman. What will the whole society think of me? Then he is like, you know what? This kid was supposed to be born any which ways. So he'll be born with my kavach and kundal, my armor and my earrings. Okay, and this kid is going to set history. He's going to change the course of history. You will be very honored to mother such a child. He says that to her, and he makes her pregnant and he leaves. And now she gives birth to Karna with the help of her maid. She puts him in a box and she puts him in the water and she
gets rid of it.
Yeah. So now later we come back to Hastinapur now. Pandu goes to Kunti's Swamvar. Kunti chooses him. Right after he gets her home, a few days later he finds out that Madra, king of Madra, has attacked Hastinapur. But when he sees Pandu on the battlefield, he thinks that okay, it's a very powerful country. Why not have an alliance with them? Turns out his sister was his charioteer, the king of Madra's charioteer. So he brings her along. Okay, in the middle of the battlefield, he tells her, why don't you marry my sister? Why don't we, instead of fighting this battle and losing lives, I would better be friends with you than be your enemy. So Pandu's like, okay, I don't mind. I will marry your sister. So now he takes her home. Kunti has a little bit of hesitation, of course. Within 2 days of marriage, he's getting one more wife. So both the wives are there in harmony together. They go on a small getaway. Okay, Vidur says that you're a king. You did go on an expedition right now to increase your territory and everything. Why don't you and the queens go for a getaway, right? So during that getaway, what happens? Pandu makes a mistake. He mistakenly thinks that it's a tiger, but he kills a rishi. Rishi Dwapayana, I think. Something like that his name was. I don't remember the sage's name. But he was actually with his wife. He couldn't see his wife actually. I think his wife was sitting on his lap or sitting beside him.
How can a human look like a tiger?
No, he was wearing the tiger skin, that Rishi. Okay. So that's why Pandu actually mistakenly he mistakes him to be a tiger and he shoots him. Okay. So what happens is that when he shot him, that arrow also went through his wife. So both the couple, actually husband and wife, they get killed. And during his last breath, when Pandu tries to go and save them, he says that, the moment I was enjoying with my wife, you decided to kill me. Okay. The moment you will decide to be with your wife, to have the pleasure of being with your wife, that'll be the last breath you take. So he gets a curse. So now Pandu goes back, he tells this sad news to everyone in the family, and everyone is like, you know what, I mean, he was distressed, he was in his last breath, may not mean something, all of that, they try to console him. But Pandu says, you know what, no, I need to leave the kingdom, I'll be taking vanvas, I can't be a king anymore. Like, the guilt is basically eating on me. If like next year or tomorrow is my last day, I want to do it peacefully. I don't want to take up the pressures of being a king. He gives the crown to Dhritarashtra. And he leaves with both his queens. He leaves. Now, in the meantime, Dhritarashtra is married to Gandhari, who decides to blindfold herself because she says that the world my husband can't see, the same world I don't want to see. So she has also blindfolded herself, and she has gotten Shakuni with herself. Now, the other Shakuni is her elder brother. Is Gandhari's elder brother. Okay, so Shakuni is one central character. So anybody who betrays or anybody who conspires today in contemporary world is called Shakuni Mama. Okay, because he conspires throughout the story. So now what happens? This Pandu and the queens are there in the forest, right? So now time comes for the Kauravas and the Pandavas to be born. So here Kunti, she has that mantra, right? The Durvasa mantra. So because of the curse, he can't mate with his wives now, Pandu, right? But he does want children, right? So Kunti tells him about the Durvasa mantra. So he suggests, why don't we call the best of the best celestial beings, and why don't you have their children? They'll get my name, of course, but why don't you have their children? Right? So she first calls Dharmaraj. Okay, Yudhishthir is born. At the same time, when Yudhishthir was born,
who is Dharmaraj?
Dharmaraj is he's the lord of Dharma. So he's called Dharmaraj. I'll do a fact check on this. Basically, yeah, like throughout the Mahabharata, he's been called as the son of Dharma. I think that's what is the name. Okay. Next is what happens here. He gets to hear, like, here Yudhishthir is born. There Gandhari was already pregnant in Hastinapur. But Dhritarashtra gets anxious. He's like, oh my god. He becomes the eldest son now, Yudhishthir. Right? Now my children, like, I already got the crown as a charity. Now my children will not get a chance at the throne. And hearing this, Gandhari gets so distressed. She starts punching her belly. Okay, like, she gets so frustrated that why are you not getting born, and she punches her belly. And what happens is the fetus had to be taken out of her, like, because she bleeds so much. So at that time Vedvyas comes, and what can be called in the contemporary world as IVF, he does something similar to that.
I don't believe that, yeah, because I don't know, there must be some other way or some other fantasy element of it.
No, because what happens is he takes out that fetus, he divides it into 100 parts.
Okay.
And then he, like, through mantras and all, he puts life into each of them, and one after the other, the 100 brothers are born. Right? And one of their daughters is also born later. Okay, so what happens? Duryodhan, when he's born, right after, like, probably a week after Yudhishthir's birth, Duryodhan is born. Okay, like, very close call. It was a close call. Okay. Right after that, Kunti is on a spree. She calls the lord of wind, Pavandev, and gets Bhim from him. Then she calls Indra. From Indra, she gets Arjun. She gives the same mantra to Mata Madri. So Madri calls the Ashwini brothers. Ashwini brothers are the medical experts of the gods, right? So from them she gets twins, Nakul and Sahadev. Okay, so now the news comes to Hastinapur that okay, here 5 sons are born to Pandu, and over here 100 sons are born to to Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra he's actually losing his insecurities. Why? Because okay, right after Yudhishthira is born, even his son was born. Okay, so he also has a chance at the throne now, and he's having 100 sons. He just has 5. Right? All of these thoughts are there in Dhritarashtra's mind. Now, these kids, like Yudhishthira must have been probably 10 or 11 years old when Pandu one day he stumbles upon Madri taking a bath under the waterfall. He joins her, and as soon as he touches her, he dies. Okay, so here Madri cannot take up the guilt. She feels that she is the reason her husband is no more. She decides to do sati with him. And Kunti is left to take care of the 5 sons. Now at this moment, Krishna's father, Vasudev, he is actually cousin to Kunti. So he comes. As soon as he hears the news, he is the first one to come and urge Kunti that you come with me. Come home with me. Okay, like I will take care of you and my nephews. But then Kunti is like, no, I can't come with you. Their home is in Hastinapur. My son has my sons have a responsibility towards Hastinapur. I cannot escape that and come with you. So she goes to Hastinapur along with her children. Now by then, Duryodhan's psychology in unison with Dhritarashtra and Shakuni has become that because you are the eldest son's elder son, okay, you are eligible for the throne. So since childhood, this has been told like a mantra to his ears, into his ears, which Vidur and Bhishma don't like it. Okay, and then first attempt, what happens is Bhim has to reluctantly welcome his brothers, right? The Kulguru Kripacharya, Kulguru of
Bhima welcome.
Bhishma, it's not Bhima, Duryodhan. Duryodhan has to welcome his brothers. Okay, like his mother urges him to. Shakuni Mama tells him that after all they are your brothers, whether you like them or not. Okay, you have to show that you have some leadership qualities. Okay, we will see what we can do with them later. But right now you be in everyone's good books, no? So he tries to welcome them. Now Kulguru Kripacharya, he is supposed to give tutelage to all these children.
Dronacharya or what?
Kripacharya. He was the Kulguru first. But Dhritarashtra, he doesn't want Pandu's children to be of the same level as his children. So he knowingly keeps calling Kripacharya to take consulting from him regarding the kingdom's matters. So Kripacharya has absolutely no time to teach these children. They just keep playing the whole day. They are not at the same level of archery or holding a mace or even holding a say any other weapon. Okay, they don't have.
But by that time, Kripacharya has taught everything to the other kids.
Not everything. Like they were on a certain learning level, right? These kids were on a different learning level. The Pandavas, right? So they were not able to catch up. Okay, so Bhishma actually was tense regarding this. That after all, even if they are not on the same learning level, right now no learning is happening. That's the biggest concern. So one fine day, what happens? These kids, when they were playing with the ball, that ball goes and falls in the well. So a man comes. He's completely like he's in a he's just wearing very like a dhoti and just a shawl. Okay, he comes. He bumps into Arjun. And he's like, what is happening? Why are you children around the well? What are you guys doing? So he tells him that sir, our ball has fallen into the well. What to do now? So what that man does is he takes grass. Okay, it's a weed actually. It's called a sarkanda. Okay, it's like a very sharp glazed grass, a long grass. Okay, it's like unlike grass which is a little bit flexible. Those grow like a little bit stiff. So he pulls a few, like he asks the kids to get a few sarkanda, and what he does is he targets to the ball. Okay, and one after the other, he like his aim was so good that he kept aiming the sarkanda one after the other, and he makes a rope out of it and he brings out the ball. So this thing Arjun goes and tells Bhishma that I met this man today, he did this magic, like this amazing thing, my mind is blown, all of that. So as soon as he hears this trick, he says, using grass this man made that rope, are you sure? So Arjun's like, yes, we saw that, like we only brought those sarkanda to him. So he's like, you take me to that man quickly. Okay, because he suspects him to be Guru Dronacharya. So Dronacharya and Bhishma were classmates at Guru Parshuram's tutelage, under Parshuram's tutelage. So that's how he suspected that it might be Dronacharya. So he goes, meets him, and he convinces him to teach the princess. So they now start learning. Now he calls his wife Kripi. Now Kripi is Kripacharya's younger sister. So Kripacharya and Dronacharya are also related. They are brother-in-laws to each other. So now Ashwathama comes along. Ashwathama is Dronacharya's son. He comes and Dronacharya was having financial troubles. Now that he has become the royal teacher, now his financial troubles are gone. Now this is also one important thing to note, that okay, Dronacharya had financial troubles, and why he had, he was roaming around randomly like that. Okay, so now anyhow the learning is over. It is noted that Arjun is great at archery, Bhima is great at mace, everyone has their own, like Duryodhan is good at mace, all of that stuff. Like every prince has taken up a specialization, and everyone is good at learning, and they're all working hard towards becoming the future kings of Hastinapur. So they have to showcase their talent, what they have learned, like to the public. So they have this whole event. At that event, Karna comes. He has completed now his studies with Guru Parshuram, and he has come. So when all of this exhibition is going on, like they exhibit their talents, everyone exhibits their talents. When Arjun is on the field, when Arjun is called, that time Karna reaches there. And Karna challenges Arjun that why will you show your, exhibit your archery alone? Do a duel with me. Let's see who is the better archer, you or me. So there, Karna is asked, who are you? Like to contest with a prince, you have to be a prince. Who are you? So then he says, I am Adhirath's and Radha's son. So then everyone remembers, you are the charioteer's son, like Adhirath was our charioteer. He actually quit the job to take care of a son that he had found in a casket. So when Kunti hears this, she looks at his kavach and kundal, at his armor and earrings. She remembers that, then she identifies him at that exhibition ground. So there, Vidur actually shows Karna his place, that you are not a prince, okay? You are not part of the royal family. You cannot contest with the princess here. This is just for the princess of Hastinapur. This exhibition is for that. You want to do a battle, you can do it elsewhere. Okay. So that day the function is over. Now Dronacharya asks for a Guru Dakshina. There he tells, go and get King Drupad as my war prisoner.
Who
Okay.
has to go and do this?
His students. So Kauravas and Pandavas had already made their teams. right? So 100 Kauravas, they first go to get Drupad, defeat Drupad and get him alive. So basically Dronacharya had told you defeat him, get him alive to me. Now when they go and get him alive, what happens? They lose. Kauravas lose. Drupad and his soldiers, they chase them away from the battlefield. But now the Pandavas go. And Pandavas don't go with an army, unlike the Kauravas. Pandavas, just the 5 Pandavas, they only go. And they destroy Drupad and his army. They catch hold of Drupad, they take him as a war prisoner. So the backstory here is that Dronacharya and Drupad were actually classmates during their time of learning. And that time Drupad had said that even though I am the son of a king, whatever is mine is yours. Any day you need help from me, I will give you half of what is mine. So now when Dronacharya was having financial troubles, he had gone to ask for a cow from Drupad. And Drupad insults him and said, who do you think you are? You will come like you'll just what I had said as a child, you will take that seriously as an adult and you will come to me and ask for help. I'm not going to give you any cow or anything. Go do some work, earn, and then get a cow from that. Okay. So that was when he was ashamed and he didn't go back home and he was randomly roaming around when he bumps into Arjun. Okay. So now he reminds Drupad that now that you are my prisoner, now that my children my students have defeated you, I'll give you only half of your kingdom. I'm keeping the other half. And all the cows in your royal stable, I will take half of it. And because you owe me a cow, I will take 1 cow from your royal stable, from your half. Okay, he punishes his friend like this. So now Drupad is he wants to take vengeance. Like he is completely feeling insulted. He wants to take vengeance. Okay, that's why he does a yajna for a son. He wants a son who will grow up to kill Drupad. Not Dronacharya.
What?
Dronacharya. So now Drupad has only one thing in his mind, that I am going to get this Dronacharya killed. Okay. And for that, because Dronacharya is not any normal soul, right? He is also a very great warrior, right? Now he does a yajna for which, just for a son actually. He wants a son who will be born, who will be the main reason to kill Dronacharya. But now, during that yajna itself, after Drishtadyumna is born, Draupadi also comes out of that yajna. So now he has Drishtadyumna and Draupadi, his children. So alongside here in Hastinapur, Duryodhan has done his second conspiracy, that is the Wax Palace conspiracy. Okay. Now when they have escaped from the Wax Palace, the Pandavas and Kunti, okay, they hear of the Swayamvar of Draupadi.
No, what is this Wax Palace? You suddenly skipped.
Yeah, so here the part of the story is over. Like Drupad has gotten the weapon against Dronacharya, that he wanted a son. Along with that son Drishtadyumna, he has Draupadi.
So where did the Wax Palace come from?
So now meanwhile in Hastinapur, now that these princes have grown up, Yudhishthir is made the king. Okay, there's a challenge put to both Duryodhan and Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir wins and Yudhishthir is made the king. Dhritarashtra had to make Yudhishthir the king. So not the king, the Yuvraj, the heir apparent. So now that he was made the heir apparent, now he is supposed to do the duties of a Yuvraj. He's supposed to go and mingle amongst the common people. He's supposed to go and attend some big puja that is happening, or some big festival, mela, something is happening. He needs to go and make an appearance. So in Varnavat, there was a big Shiv puja happening for Mahashivratri. So that's why these people decide to go, like all 5 brothers and Kunti, they decide to go. But Duryodhan says that no, you will not live in some tent or some, in some normal palace or something. I will get a palace constructed for you. So using Purochan's help, Purochan was an architect, using Purochan's help, they get a wax palace built. Now Vidur, very smartly, he communicates to the Pandavas that during a forest fire, it's a rat, it's a mole, it's a rat that is saved because it lives in a burrow. So Yudhishthir catches up on this. He says that when we are talking about our trip, suddenly Kaka Vidur is saying like this. He's a miser with words. He will not say something like this randomly. There's something wrong. Okay, so since then all these 5 brothers become very alert. And one fine day what happens, so basically when a prince goes like that to a puja or something like that, the merchants of that area, they bring some gifts. So one person, he carries a mouse in his cage and he comes to him. So so Yudhishthir understands that Vidur has sent this person. He comes with a what do you call that? It's called the tilling instrument with which you till the land.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, so yeah, he sees that, and
the
that
tools
person
for making a burrow,
making a
right?
hole, making a burrow to make a hole in the ground. So when he sees him, he understands that Vidur has sent him, and they take his help, and within 2 days and 2 nights, 3 days and 2 nights, he constructs that tunnel for them. Okay, and the day these people, Purochan, had planned to burn the wax palace, right the night before, these brothers, they decide that we will burn the wax palace and we will leave. We will make people think that we have been killed. So Purochan had actually taken help of a tribal family. In that family also there were 5 sons and 1 mother. So actually that tribal family who had helped Purochan in constructing that palace, they actually get burnt and killed. Okay.
So what is the need to show that they have died? Like they
Because
can just
come out and expose Duryodhan?
Yeah.
What good would that have done to them?
Nothing, that Duryodhan would be jailed and like.
Yeah, if Dhritarashtra would have been that nice a king, he would have never allowed Duryodhan to do all the things that he later allowed.
But he has not informed Dhritarashtra, no? This.
No, Dhritarashtra doesn't know. Bhishma, nobody knows. Only Vidur knows. So that's why these people were like, you know what, we are not wanted.
How does Vidur know, by the way?
Vidur knows. He knew of this conspiracy beforehand.
How?
Through the spies actually. He had put spies because he actually was suspicious of Duryodhan's behavior. That suddenly he has seen how much he hates his brothers since childhood. Suddenly the brother he thinks to be an opponent has become the heir apparent, and now suddenly the love has grown that he wants to construct a palace for him. So he sends his spies to find out what are the materials being used for that palace. So the spy comes back and says they are using wax, they are using hay, they are using ghee, they are using animal fat, etc. All these inflammable substances in the construction equipment, in the construction materials to construct the palace. So then he understands what's the plan. Vidur foresees what's the plan. He goes and alerts Yudhishthir. So these people, they escape the wax palace, and when they are escaping the wax palace, on the way they meet a few rishis, okay, some hermits, and those hermits actually tell them that, you know, we are going towards Panchal. Okay, Drupad's capital, King Drupad's capital, Panchal. It's after all his daughter's Swayamvar. So Kunti is like, when did he have a daughter? So that's when these people told them the story that Drupad had done a yagya and all that stuff. So these people were like, you know, you guys also should come. You'll get a lot of bhiksha. Because these people have disguised themselves to be, ascetics. Okay. So what happens? These people were like, okay, fine.
Why are they ascetics now?
Like they have disguised themselves.
Why don't they go back to Hastinapur?
So I think they didn't have any evidence against Duryodhan. Okay, firstly, I believe they didn't have any evidence against Duryodhan to accuse him of this big crime. Okay, and see,
There are spies, no? The spies have already collected the evidence.
Yeah, but what connects? Purochan used whatever he wants. Duryodhan just gave the money. The only trail is the money trail. Did he give him, like, did he commission the materials? No. He just gave him the money. Now, who will prove that the idea was given by Duryodhan and Shakuni?
Okay, got it.
Right? So, these people, what they must have thought at that time probably is that, you know what, let these people think that we are dead. Probably we can, expose their true colors when we are not there. Like, probably that this must have been their plan. I'm not sure why every time this used to happen, they would go into this plan mode of becoming a, Vanvasi only. Okay, so now these people also think that, okay, we also need to eat something. They were also facing some hardships. So these 5 Pandavas and Kunti, they decide to go to Panchal for that Swayamvar. And when they go to the Swayamvar, they see Duryodhan is there, Karna is there, Dushasan is there. He sees all the people he knows. Like, these people know, Pandavas know. So now there the Swayamvar happens. Arjun successfully targets the fish's eye. Draupadi...
what fish?
Okay, so here the Swayamvar's challenge was there will be oil on the ground and there will be a rotating fish on the top. So looking at the reflection in that, there was water in the bottom and there was fish on top. So looking at the water in the bottom vessel, the contestant is supposed to target the fish's eye. Okay, and whoever successfully pierces the fish's eye using their arrow by looking at the reflection in the water will be the winner of the Swayamvar. So what happens is, none of the warriors who were there, they couldn't even pick up the bow, let alone targeting the fish.
Pick the bow, why? It's heavy.
Yes. So basically the bow at that time were not tied up. So basically you have to because the flexibility of that wire needs to be decided by the archer. So it is called pratyancha. Okay, the art of tying the rope around the bow is called pratyancha. Okay, so what happens? None of the warriors over there can't even lift the bow. Okay, so finally Arjun comes. He successfully picks up the bow. He puts
but it's not royal family, no? Anyone can participate.
So there was no declaration that only royalty will come and participate. So these people came and they took part, like, because all the warriors one by one they came, none of them were successful. Drishtadyumna started taunting all of them that you people are calling yourself warriors. With what face did you come here? Like, you people are not even able to pick up the bow, like, let alone targeting the fish. So that's when Arjun gets up. Like, Yudhishthir, signs him that you go. Like, you are after, like, we are looking like hermits, but you are after all royalty. Go. So Arjun goes, he picks up the bow, very successfully pierces the eye of the fish and wins. So that's when they get exposed also. Duryodhan identifies them. Duryodhan, Karna, they identify. Like, they know there's no other warrior left in this world other than Arjun to do this. Okay, so they get exposed also, Pandavas. So at this time, Draupadi is taken along. Yudhishthir, Nakul and Sahadev, they leave beforehand itself. But from behind now, Arjun and Bhim, they come together with Draupadi. Okay, and when they come, they very politely call out to Kunti and they are like, Mata, look, we've gotten a very good bhiksha for you. Okay, and without looking, she says, okay, bhiksha, no, you 5 brothers divide amongst yourself. So these people were like, then Arjun, he says, mother, you should have just looked once before saying that. Okay, then she gets really angry actually. Kunti gets really angry. She's like, are you people crazy? Why would you call a woman a bhiksha? Now try and divide her amongst yourself. I have said no, like you won't let my words go blank, like words go to waste. Now you people show me that you can divide her amongst yourselves. Like who talks in this dumb manner and all of that stuff. So then Yudhishthir also comes and calms her down, de-escalates the situation and tells her that okay, my brothers are stupid, but mother, even you should have looked back before saying something. Okay, you should have seen what they are saying, like what they have gotten, right? You also spoke without any fact, right? So now Drishtadyumna comes over there. He has actually followed them back to know that who these people are. Because he was curious that okay, none of the warriors in the Sabha could do it. Who are these people that they have been able to win the challenge, right? Till then, everyone thinks that Pandavas and Kunti are killed. Okay, so when he comes there, he overhears the conversation. Till then, Krishna has also reached there. Like Krishna was the chief guest actually at the Swayamvar. So Krishna comes there and Krishna explains the situation, that he actually gives asks Yudhishthir, he supports Yudhishthir that okay, like Mata Kunti should support you with whatever you guys decide. Okay, so at that time Yudhishthir has actually noticed that he himself is getting attracted to Draupadi. All his other 4 brothers have also gotten attracted to Draupadi, and she is also very much interested in all the 5. Like she's had an eye contact situation, tension with each of the 5 brothers at least once in the whole thing that is happening. Okay, in the whole discussion that is happening, and Yudhishthir has this sense within him. He can foresee that okay, because of this one woman, it can so happen that us 5 brothers who have been like the fingers of a palm, okay, that's like we are like a fist right now, we are united. Because of this woman, it can so happen that we can be separated too. There can be conflict because of her, because he has seen how his brothers were eyeing her. Okay, like they all got attracted, but still they were trying to make Bhim tried to make sense of it. He was like, you know what, Arjun, you won the Swayamvar, you should get married to Draupadi. Then Arjun says, no, I am the younger brother. Bhale hi I won the Swayamvar, but Yudhishthir is there, he's unmarried, he should get married first. All of that discussion started happening. Then Yudhishthir, he quoted 2 examples. One example where both polyandry, one example of a woman getting married to 2 men, and another example of a woman getting married to 8 men because of unforeseen circumstances, like unescapable circumstances probably, that such a setting had to happen. And he said that this is also one of those settings. Okay, and Draupadi also didn't deny, she didn't protest. She had a righteous man by her side, she had a strong man by her side, she had the best archer, she had the most knowledgeable man by her side, and the most beautiful looking man. Okay, so these are actually one characteristics of each of the 5 brothers. Okay, and probably there weren't such men with all the 5 characteristics existing. Okay, so Draupadi didn't protest. Nobody forced this on her. She very willingly married the 5 brothers. They very willingly made a schedule of who will spend time with Draupadi when. So the decision was that okay, all 5 of us are going to provide, protect, and safekeep her dignity as husbands. But when it
are
came
they allowed to have other extra wives?
Yes, they do. They do. Arjun gets married to every princess throughout the country. He was married to a princess from Assam. Okay, so everyone had one wife. Bhim has no Hidimba, right? But their names are not mentioned in the text so much. Only Bhim's wife Hidimba and Arjun's wives. Actually, Subhadra was there, Ullupi was there, right? All these people's names were mentioned because their sons were also part of the war. That's why they were all mentioned also. So now these 5 brothers and Draupadi, they reach Hastinapur. Bhishma is elated. He welcomes them back with open arms. Dhritarashtra has to pretend that he's happy. Duryodhan has lost it because in his absence, in Yudhishthir's absence, they have made Duryodhan the Yuvraj now. So now Duryodhan is completely in panic mode. He's like, what are these people going to do now? Because Yudhishthir and the Pandavas are going to ask for their rights now, right? So he's like, I'm not giving up my position. So now Dhritarashtra says that, okay, I have to be fair to my brother's sons. So he very smartly, Dhritarashtra is not a very good father, I would say, nor a good king. He was not a good king, and he thought he was doing the righteous thing. But in the garb of righteousness, what he did was, Hastinapur had one part of the kingdom which was completely barren. There was no vegetation, there was no inhabitation, there was a demon, a known demon who was, terrorizing that place called Khandavprasth. So he says that I will divide Hastinapur into 2. Khandavprasth, I'll give it to the 5 Pandavas and Kunti, and Hastinapur, Duryodhan can take. So now, when these 5 brothers go there, they understand the scheme. What has happened with them. That it was unfair. They very clearly see that. But then Yudhishthir tells his brothers that we are not incapable. Let's make the best out of what we have. So every brother does their part to clean up the forest area. One brother, Nakul and Sahadev tried to...
You said it is barren, no? Then you're saying forest area.
Yeah, it's barren. So whatever forest area in the sense, like some dead trees and all of that are there. Okay, so basically all the poisonous trees and dead trees and poisonous plants, all of that is there. It's barren because you can't till the land. It's rocky. The probably the texture is not correct for vegetation. All of that. So each of these brothers, they try to do their part. Like Nakul and Sahadev try to clean up an area. Like they burn the poisonous plants in that certain area to like till the land for crops and everything. So like this, each of the brothers does something or the other, right? Like Bhim starts clearing the rocks. He's so strong that he can pick up boulders and clean up area, all of that. And Arjun fights the demon over there. That he was called Maya, the demon. So he actually defeats that demon, and with the help of that very demon, they construct their palace. So with all their hard work, they try to make their kingdom worth living. They try to have some agriculture in one place. They try to set up some businesses so that the merchants can come and the trade can start. People can come and start inhabiting all of that stuff. Okay, they do the setup. Now that demon Maya, what he does is he constructs this palace of illusions as a gift. He says that it's a gift to you people. But here also he had a cunning scheme. He puts in such illusions that with the intentions that this should hurt the Pandavas where they won't know that it has hurt. So he constructs the palace of illusions and he's banished from that land. Now they try to run the country and everything is happening. Now Krishna is also overseeing, helping them.
What is this palace of illusion? Is it real or?
It's a real thing. So
along why is it called illusion?
Because he puts illusions, like where it looks like there is water, there is actually hard surface on top of that, like you're able to walk on water. Where there is fire, you think that okay, I can't go forward, there's a pit of fire, but you can walk over it. Okay, wherever you think there's a carpet, but it's actually water right under it, you will fall in it. So he tries to make a palace of illusions. Like he has put in paintings in that palace which looks like a
But
garden.
what is the sense? Like he has to build what they ask him to build, right?
So he builds the palace. So this palace of illusions, he says that it's my gift to you. It'll be like a spectacle to see, like your guests or your people if they want to.
But it is not
see.
safe, no, to have all these random.
Why is it not safe?
You only said no carpet. You will fall inside the carpet.
So basically, see, it was actually, I think, according to me, it was Maya's devious plan, okay, to put in like a seed of discord. Okay, like he probably must have thought over that, okay, I'll put such illusions in this palace that someday it should hurt the Pandavas. One of these illusions, some of the guests should see or experience in such a way that it hurts their ego probably, and they try to harm the Pandavas because of it. So this palace of illusions actually played a big part in the war, right? So here, when everything is set up, like the city is set up, the the businesses are set up there, the agriculture is set up, all of that, they try to make it a habitable place. All of this is happening. They are running the country properly. After a few years, Krishna says to Yudhishthir that, you know what, Yudhishthir, you should, okay, so by this time Arjun has already gotten married to Subhadra. Okay, so all of this, so basically their life is going forward, right? But at this time Shri Krishna tells Yudhishthir that, okay, now you should become the king of kings, like it's called Chakravarti Samrat. He's like, now you are just Raja Yudhishthir. Now you should target to become the main king. Like, all the kings should be under your alliance. They should be under your subsidy, basically. So he says that let's do Ashwamedha Yagya. So at this time, each brother was sent to each direction of the country to increase their land borders through alliance or through war. Either ways. So now that whole expedition was over. During this time, Jarasandh was killed. Jarasandh was ripped apart by Bhim, right? He was ripped apart by Bhim. That episode happens wherein Krishna tells Bhim that Jarasandh is not one person. He's the merging of two people actually. He's actually having the strength of two people. So you better be careful. So it was Krishna who gives him idea that you rip him apart from the middle and throw him in two opposite directions so that he can't get joined again. So now Jarasandh is also killed, and now these people can successfully call themselves, can call Yudhishthir the Chakravarti Samrat. So during that function wherein he's given that crown of being called the Chakravarti Samrat, that time Shishupal comes. Shishupal is actually the son-in-law of Jarasandh. He's very angry that Krishna got Jarasandh killed, and Shishupal is also the cousin of Krishna. Okay, so here Shishupal, Krishna was prophesied, it was prophesied for Shishupal that Krishna would kill him. Okay, so because of that, Krishna had promised Shishupal's mother as a kid that, okay, I will not kill your son for 100 insults. For 100 mistakes that he makes, I will not kill him. Once he makes the 100th mistake, I am going to kill him.
101st.
Yes. Okay, so then Shishupal comes to the darbar. He halters the ceremony and he starts hurling abuses at Krishna. Okay, so when he hurls the 100th abuse at him, he takes out his Sudarshan Chakra and kills Shishupal. And when the Sudarshan Chakra comes back on Krishna's finger, his finger gets cut a little bit. Okay, and Draupadi quickly tears her sari ka end and ties up the wound. and he tells her that one day I will repay back every thread of the cloth that you've tied to me. And right after this, Duryodhan tries to explore the palace, and every time, like after the whole ceremony is over,
So this Duryodhana is also under Chakravarti Samrat.
Yes. He
lost battle.
No, he didn't have to. They didn't have to battle. No? They are family. So why, like Dhritarashtra was the king actually. So Dhritarashtra didn't challenge his kinghood. So they were anyways alliances, right? They were part of the two neighboring kingdoms. So anyways, they were part of the same family. So it didn't make sense for Dhritarashtra to challenge his own nephews. So that is why they were a part of the alliance. They came willingly. They didn't do any war or anything. So Yudhishthir only urges Duryodhan and Dushasana that why don't you guys stay back a few more days? Why do you want to go back now? Explore our city, explore our palace, see what we have done with it. So every single time that Duryodhan goes out and explores the city, he comes back more jealous than ever. That we had connivingly given these people a barren land and look at what they have done with it. And he gets the desire for it, that I want all this. And he reaches the Palace of Illusions one day. There he is actually taken aback. Like there's a wall from which it looks like an entrance to a garden, but he dashes into the glass. It's just a painting. Okay, then he comes across a pathway which looks like a pit of fire. Okay, and one of the dasis comes and she's like, Prince, you can go ahead. I mean, it's just glass. Like you can just go over this. It's just looking like fire. There's no fire. And he is having fun, okay, seeing all these illusions. Okay, one place it's looking like there's running water, but he's able to walk over water. So he is having fun with all of these things. And then finally comes a pool which looks like a carpet. On top of it, the flowers were arranged in such a way that it looked like a rangoli. Actually, it looked like a carpet of flowers. And the dasis told him that, Prince, please walk around it, not over it. Okay, it's actually a pool of water. It has been decorated like this. Don't walk over it. But then he's like, this is Palace of Illusions, right? This is also an illusion. You all are illusion. Let me walk in. He goes and he falls. And what happens is, instead of taking him out, Draupadi starts laughing. There the Pandavas also come. They also actually start laughing there. Okay, and he feels humiliated. That these people are not helping me come out and these people are laughing at me. Okay. So then what happens? He goes back home with the rage, with that anger, and he's not just angry, he's jealous. His jealousy is at peak. So what he thinks is, now I'll give such a story to my father that it not just becomes about my anger, it becomes my insult also. So he goes back and tells the story again to his father, that everyone was laughing at me and they did not pick me out, rather they were pointing at me and laughing, all of that. So Dhritarashtra was like, see, you should have taken care. The Dasi told you. Why were you still going? Okay, but look at how your brothers have, turned it for themselves. You also know, Duryodhan, what kind of land we had given them. But still they have turned it around. Now let's live peacefully. Okay, even this was the first time Dhritarashtra actually encourages Duryodhan that you be happy with what you have, na. You are going to be the king of Hastinapur. Why you want more? But Duryodhan is like, no. Like, I want it. Like, it was after all part of Hastinapur. Without asking me, you gave it to them. All of that. He starts saying all these things. Now, Shakuni gives this idea to Duryodhan. Why don't you call your cousins for a game of dice? You want that palace, right? You want what they have, right? Why not challenge them for a game of dice? So now, through Dhritarashtra, they send a invitation through Vidur. Vidur goes as the messenger. So when Vidur goes there, he's highly ashamed with what his king has ordered him to do. You don't call your family for a game of dice. Okay, it's what breaks families. So Vidur goes there, he says that this is the invitation for you, and even Yudhishthira is taken aback. He says, why would why would uncle give such a order to us? Like, doesn't he know that this game of dice will put a discord in the family? He doesn't, like, why is he doing this? So Vidur is like, you have a choice to reject the invitation. So here Yudhishthir says, I am a king, okay, and another king along, and coincidentally he's my uncle also. Both ways I cannot reject his invitation. I will go. To honor my uncle, to honor another king, I will go. So all these people, Draupadi and all the 5 Pandavas along with Kunti, they go to Hastinapur. Now here Draupadi has given birth to Yudhishthir's son. Okay, she is already done with her first or second pregnancy, I think. Okay, probably Yudhishthir's son or Bhim's son. Like, she's given birth to at least 2 sons by now, as far as I remember. And she was having her postpartum periods. Okay, so here during the game of dice, first thing that happens is Shakuni takes out like a pair of dice, okay, and he starts to roll it. Then Arjun objects. He says that no, Duryodhan is going to be our opponent. Why is Shakuni rolling the dice? We don't want Shakuni to roll the dice. Okay, but then Shakuni says that no, I am playing on behalf of Duryodhan. So then Yudhishthir says, okay, if you want to play on behalf of Duryodhan, don't play with your pair of dice, you play with Duryodhan's pair of dice. Now here Shakuni has actually given him that pair of dice, given Duryodhan the pair of dice before the game had started. He said that, see, Yudhishthir is going to be a stickler for rules. So when he says something like this, when he says that I need to play from your pair of dice, you give me this one. So they do that conspiracy has already happened. He takes actually the pair of dice which Shakuni wanted to play with. Now slowly Yudhishthir starts losing everything one after the other. Like he's
Why? Because the dice is loaded.
That dice is supposed to be biased, it seems. Also, according to me, I don't think there was nothing with the dice. According to me, it was the day that was bad. The luck was not at all in the Pandavas' favor. Because they lost every bet that day. I don't think so. There are a few folklores which say that Shakuni's father's bones were the ingredient with which the dice were made. So that's why whatever number he wanted, the same number was coming. But according to me, it was not. It was Niyati. It was destiny that day that was not on the Pandavas' side. And Shakuni played the game very well because he made them bet. He put them into that sunk cost fallacy situation. Okay, that you put more, probably you'll win this, probably you'll win back everything else. Okay, and he kept on, and also he kept on egging on Yudhishthir's ego. That you're saying you're Chakravarti Samrat, you are saying you don't have this, you're saying you're not left with anything. And when he even gives up Indraprasth, finally, his kingdom, then he says that what else do I have? Then Shakuni doesn't stop. He is like, why? You have your 4 brothers, like you have yourself, right? You, each one of you alone, like we have seen, just 5 of you, what magic you can do. You think they are not as good as assets, your brothers. So he starts with Sahadev. One by one he loses Sahadev, Nakul, Arjun, Bhim. Finally he loses himself. And now Duryodhan is like, the arrogance has got into his head. All of his jealousy has turned into greed. And now he's like, you all, like, I can't believe I have your kingdom. I have all of you 5 brothers as my slaves. And then he he's going to end the, actually Duryodhan is going to end the game, but Shakuni says the game is not over. Why don't you like put the next bet? So Yudhishthir is like taken aback. He's like, what else do I have left to bet? Then he says, Arey, your wife, your Draupadi is left. And like Yudhishthir, and that's when actually all his other 4 brothers were quiet. But that was when Arjun and Bhim, they object. They are like, we can't, like, Draupadi is the last straw. But Yudhishthir goes ahead, and right now what happens? Duryodhan says to him, you're my slave. I order you, bet your wife. Okay, like Yudhishthir cannot bring himself, like he cannot say those words that I bet my wife, right? Only when Duryodhan is like vehement and he orders him, because now they are slaves, right? They had actually before putting themselves on bet, they had put up their weapons on bet as well. When they lost all of that, then they started betting themselves, right? And finally, when Duryodhan says that, no, you all 5 are my slaves, so what I'll say you will do, and I'm asking you to bet your wife. That was when Vidur actually, he starts, like, he cries out and asks Dhritarashtra to stop the game as a king. That this is not something this Darbar should see. Okay, she's not just his wife, she's also the daughter-in-law of this family. How can you do that, right? But Dhritarashtra, like I said, he's not a good father nor a good king. He was only interested to know what his sons were winning. He suddenly, apart from being blind, he had gone deaf as well. And finally Yudhishthir says the words that I bet Draupadi. And they lose Draupadi. Now this event actually brings out one person's character very well. Till now you will be feeling very bad for that character called Karna. Okay, but this man, he speaks up and says, he calls. So basically throughout Mahabharata, nowhere will you see, Vyas Rachit Mahabharata, you will see that despite being married to 5 men, nobody has ever questioned Draupadi's character. Nobody has ever said anything demeaning to Draupadi just for being the wife of 5 men. This guy, Karna, he says, a woman who sleeps with 5 men, what would you call her? And why should we respect her now? She's anyways a slave. He was the one who gives Duryodhan the idea that you have a new slave by the name of Draupadi. Why don't you see what she looks like? And in the meantime, what happens? The person who was standing at the entry of that darbar, he was sent first to tell Draupadi that you please come. So Draupadi protests. She says, I am having my periods, and it's not just some normal period, it's my postpartum period. I am just wearing one piece of clothing, that's all. Okay, and I haven't taken a bath. You know who all are sitting there, right? They are not just, they are not just the kings and all. They are my in-laws. I cannot go in front of them like this, right? And finally Dushasan is sent. And this time Karna only says to Dushasan that go and get that Dasi by her hair. She's saying she hasn't taken a bath, right? We don't care. Go and get her by the hair. she's pulled by the hair. She's gotten to the sabha, and at this time when she's gotten to the sabha, Karna has again suggested that why don't you why don't you sleep with Duryodhan, like you've slept with 5 already, what's up with the 6th? Then Duryodhan exposes his thigh to his bhabhi, who is supposedly his slave. And this is one more disrespectful thing that was done to her. And then Karna suggests to Duryodhan, you have a new slave, right? Why don't you see what she looks like beneath this piece of clothing?
But why is
Okay.
Karna like this kind of a pervert?
That I think only Karna knows, but I think he felt insulted by Draupadi and the Pandavas. Like, he was so insecure of them that he found this chance. See, demeaning Draupadi is a big insult to the 5 Pandavas, no? It's a big like a big slap on their masculinity, on them being called a Kshatriya, because he had to be the one who had to prove every single time that he's Kshatriya, Basically, he was actually a hybrid between a Brahmin and a Kshatriya. He got the training of a Kshatriya, but still he had so much insecurity and arrogance that he actually wanted to hurt the Pandavas. He wanted to basically strip them of all the dignity that they had. And Draupadi would have been just the one way, like would have been just not the one way, like the easiest way to easily,
That also
insult the
makes
whole
me
of them.
think that this is not a pleasant epic, right? Like, even in Ramayana, Sita is abducted, but she is not forcefully made to do anything.
Yes.
Like, Ravana is still waiting for her consent and all of those things.
Okay, we'll come to that. That's also a myth.
Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe at least it does not happen. It's not visibly ugly, right?
Yes.
This is like visibly ugly in the
Yeah.
sense it's not a pleasant story.
No.
Yeah, so continue.
So after this, Vikarna and Sukarna, Duryodhan's 2 brothers, they get up, they protest. So amongst the Kauravas, these 2 brothers only, they protest. They try to save Draupadi's honor, but they are shut down. They are asked to leave the Sabha. And finally, Dushasan tries to disrobe Draupadi, and that was when Draupadi only remembers Krishna. And like the folklore says, that Krishna comes, and like I said, right, he said that I will repay you back for every thread of the cloth that you tied to me. So he came to repay back by saving her honor, by the sari suddenly becoming an unending piece of clothing, till Dushasan fell down on the ground. Till then the sari doesn't end. So everyone sees this particular phenomenon, and now Draupadi is so enraged that she screams out and she's like, I curse this entire family. And right when she's wanting to finish the sentence, that what she's going to curse the entire family, that was when Gandhari enters the scene. Okay? And here I often wonder, what was Gandhari and Kunti doing? Didn't they get the news that their daughter-in-law is getting disrobed?
But how will they get the news? Someone has to deliver the news.
Exactly. So many dasi and so many maids and servants are there. None of them could go and tell. Now at this moment when she's going to curse, that time she's coming.
Okay.
Right? So it often makes me wonder, because it's not
Yeah,
written.
it's not the internet. You can't WhatsApp.
Yeah. So then Gandhari comes and stops Draupadi, and she begs Draupadi, please don't, I know it's my sons, and as their mother I'm begging you, don't curse my family. Then Draupadi is like, she calms down, she is quiet. Now Dhritarashtra realizes what has happened. Like, as soon as he hears that she's going to curse the entire family, he snaps back to reality. That was it. And then he tells her, ask for whatever you want, I will give you. So Draupadi asks for two things. First thing she says is, along with their weapons, my husband's dignity should be restored. They shouldn't be called, like, from slave status, they should be removed. They should get back what they initially owned. And the next thing, initially owned in the sense, their weapons. That's all. She just asks.
Everything should come back, no?
Yeah, so she asks for, basically she asks for everything, basically. So what she does is, first thing she asks is, you give my husbands their dignity back with their weapons. Firstly, the slave status needs to go. And secondly, she asks for everything that was lost, all their, whatever they have earned out of their hard work, all of that should come back to them. So now these two things, they get back everything. So now you like Dhritarashtra was like, ask for more. What else do you want? So Draupadi here, she still maintains her grace, and she says that as a Kshatriya woman, or as a queen of a certain kingdom, I think I should stop at only two asks, which were important to me. I cannot, like, this is my limit. I cannot unlimitedly keep asking things. Okay, this is my limit, because this is what I think I'm allowed to ask. And Dhritarashtra, finally, what he does is, he says, I give back everything to you. Your lost dignity, whatever you lost during the game of dice, every little big thing, it's all yours. Please take everything and please go back to your kingdom. But now Duryodhana is again angry. He's like, I won all of these things. Like, it's like so much hard work for nothing. Like, my father has, he has reversed everything that I have done. Right? And then these people were making arrangements to leave that place as soon as possible. But again, Duryodhana manipulates his father and says that, let's do a friendly duel, because this is unfair to me. You gave them back everything because you thought that, okay, we were going to get cursed. But had we not been getting cursed, right now everything would have been mine. Their Indraprastha would have been mine, they would have been my slaves. What about me? When will you be fair with me? Very fresh coming from Duryodhana, by the way, that when will you be fair with me? Any which ways. Now, Dhritarashtra, he asks the Pandavas to, he sends a message to them that please stop. Let's play another game of dice so that things are fair.
What?
Yes.
What
because
nonsense is this?
Yeah, because Duryodhana doesn't leave his stubbornness. Duryodhana is going berserk here. And he manipulates the Dhritarashtra into another game of dice. And during this game of dice, what they decide is, okay, we can't have each other's kingdoms, each other's belongings or people. Let's do one thing. Let's make a bet that whoever loses has to go on a 12-year exile with 1 year of incognito exile. So now these people lose, Pandavas lose again, and they leave for the 12 years exile. During this time, they do some preparation. For example, Arjun does a penance for Lord Shiva, gets the Pashupatastra from him. Brahmastra, the knowledge of Brahmastra was already there with him through Dronacharya, but he had to go to Indra for actually procuring those weapons, some more divine weapons. Okay, because these people were like, look, we fight the war or not, it's 12 years later. Okay, like it's years later. But Draupadi used to tell them that please prepare, be prepared at least. You can't just sit. Okay, because Yudhishthir had gone into a meditation mode. He, whatever small time he will find, he would start meditating. Bhim, whatever small time he would get, Bhim would go on angry walks. Okay, everyone started finding their own distractions to forget what happened with them. And Arjun, he decided that I will go to Indra and I am going to get whatever divine weapons he can, because after all Indra is his father, biological father basically. So when he goes to Indra, he meets Urvashi there,
Mm.
who is an Apsara.
Mm.
So Indra tells Arjun that why don't you learn the art of dancing,
Mm.
from Urvashi. Like, she's one of the best dancers this world will ever see.
Mm.
Like, this world has never seen, actually. She's a heavenly, like, she's a dancer in the heaven, but in the other realm. But Arjun was like, I'm a Kshatriya, basically I'm a warrior by my profession.
Mm.
I'm supposed to fight wars. I'm supposed to learn the warfare. Why are you making me learn dance?
Mm.
So he says that creativity should also be a part of your personality. A human being, yes, they need to they need to upskill themselves, but the creative side actually will fuel your professional side better. Okay,
By the way, one doubt. When they played one more match, no, for this 13 years thing, no one stopped these guys.
Who?
Like, they already got back everything, right? Like,
Mm.
can't they refuse? Can't they reject?
This time, again, see, this is what I'm saying, that Yudhishthir was called Dharmaraj because of this problem only. That he was so hell-bent into doing what is right. Okay, he's like, again, a king is calling me, it's my uncle telling me, giving me order. And Dhritarashtra was not dumb, by the way. Dhritarashtra would send the wording in such a way that, like, as an uncle, I'm ordering you. You come back.
Mm.
So this is what, and Draupadi always acknowledged this, that he is this, all of this that is happening to us is the consequences of his actions.
Mm.
That every single time you want to be righteous, now that righteous thing which you think is correct to do at this point, who knows what will be the consequence of it?
Mm.
And see what heavy price they had to pay, right?
Mm.
And then what happens, these people in that 12 years, everyone has a lot of things they had to face, like they had to come to terms with. And during these 12 years, Shri Krishna would come every time, like at certain intervals, to keep pumping these people up. He would not let these people rest.
Mm.
He would tell them that, you know what, war is the last alternative, but still you keep preparing.
Mm.
Okay, he would still say that, you know what, like, you think that, I'm asking you to make peace with what happened, that I'm asking you to prioritize peace over war. Remember that if a war happens, you are going to lose your own as well. Nowhere is it written that, okay, during a war only your opponents are going to get killed. That's not how a war happens. And this war which you are talking about, you have no idea the scale of the war that's going to happen. So finally they get all the weapons, this happens. And during this time, actually Duryodhan used to knowingly go for hunting expeditions to mock his cousins. He would knowingly set up his tent at a certain distance, that when they cook, that smell would reach their hut of the royal food. These people were having simple food, whatever they could procure from the forest. Now these people were eating royal food, hunting animals and eating the meat of that. So all of that smell would come till here. Bhim would get angrier. Nakul and Sahadev would feel, they would miss home. All of these things would happen. Around this time, Duryodhan tries to misbehave with a Gandharva girl. Gandharva woman. That Gandharva woman goes and tells her brother, and he, along with his friends, he comes and he ties up Duryodhan. He comes and attacks Duryodhan basically. Okay, and during this time, Duryodhan's best friend, Karna, he flees. Okay, he picks up his bow and arrow and he flees. Okay, and actually that time there were no soldiers along with them. So probably Karna must have thought that I cannot fight alone. So he goes out to get some help. But during that time, one of the soldiers who was there, they quickly go and tell Yudhishthir that Drona, that someone has, some Gandharvas have come and tied up Duryodhana. So then what happens? Bhim and Arjun go, they rescue him.
Why?
Because Yudhishthir tells them. He tells them that after all, he's the Yuvraj of Hastinapur. He's not just some simple common man. And even if he's a common man, we know that someone is in distress. We need to go and help them. See, this is what righteous path, this is what dharma. Even if you don't see, these people didn't, Arjun and Bhim, do you think Arjun and Bhim would have ever wanted it to go and help that stupid person out? No. But for them, dharma is listening to their elder brother. For their elder brother,
idiotic, right?
And for their elder brother, dharma is that no, we need to think of the country also. We cannot think of the individual. I cannot bring my personal vendetta here and let the heir apparent to the throne of Hastinapur, get killed. Right? So he did not bring his individual vengeance here, and he told his brothers, you are able people, go rescue him. But again, Duryodhan, when this happens, when he goes back, Shakuni also tries to tell him that, you know what, you should be, I think, you should probably when they are back from their Vanvas, give them everything. Don't indulge in all of these things now. Let the years pass, let them finish their Vanvas, let's get back to normal. Even Shakuni at one point tries to convince to Duryodhan. It was only Karna, because of whom Duryodhan stayed pumped. That yes, come what may, I can do whatever with these people, with my cousins, and I don't have to face the consequence. Why? Because I have Karna, a friend like Karna by my side. And Karna would also say the same thing. You have a friend like me by your side. And then finally, in the 13th year of exile, so basically during the 12 years when I had said, right, he had gone to Indra for getting weapons. That time he meets Urvashi. Urvashi teaches Arjun dance, how to dance and how to sing, and there she falls in love with him. And when she proposes to Arjun, he very humbly rejects her advances and says that, you are my teacher. I have a motherly feeling towards you. I don't have those feelings which you have for me. Okay? And she gets angry. She can't take this rejection. She's like, do you know how beautiful I am? Do you know what my beauty can do to a mortal human being? Who do you think you are? Okay? And she curses him to become a eunuch. Because she said that you are not fit to be a man. Because you don't have the eyes a man has when he looks at a beautiful woman. Right? And you have insulted me, now you will become a eunuch. So, but then what happens? Indra finds out. Indra pacifies Urvashi. She realizes her mistake, that there is something known as consent, that there is something known as respecting someone else's rejection. Just because she is beautiful, she cannot have every man wrapped around her little pinky. So Indra reasons with her, and because Indra is a god, he reduces, he gives a timeline to that curse. He says that this curse will be applicable to him for 1 year when the time comes. So in the 13th year of their exile, when they had to go incognito. So basically, what's the rule of an incognito exile? Nobody should be able to identify you. Nobody should be able to identify you by your real identity in the whole year. You have to live your life among people.
But what is this reason for 1 year incognito?
So here the clause was that in that 1 year incognito, if you get caught, if you get identified, you have to go back on a 12-year Vanvas again and 1 more year of incognito exile. That. So Duryodhan had made the terms like this. So this is what? He kept on making things difficult for his cousins. Right? And then finally when these people go for the incognito exile, they go to what is that? Matsya Desh, I think. They go to Matsya Desh because that country was not having many conflicts, like ongoing conflicts going on, and the king was a subsidiary of the Indraprasth. So Yudhishthir said that that's far away enough from Hastinapur. They don't have any conflicts with Hastinapur or even Indraprasth. That's a small country, peaceful country. We can go there and be incognito there. So these people, they go there and they tell the king that Virat, I think his name was Virat, they are told that we were the courtiers in Yudhishthir's kingdom. So I was Yudhishthir's personal advisor. Yudhishthir says this. Bhim says I was his royal cook. Arjun says I was a dance instructor there. And Nakul says I was handling his cow stables, cow sheds. And Sahadev says I used to handle his horse stables. All of them got one job. And what job does Draupadi get? Draupadi gets the job of becoming the personal attendant of the Queen Sudeshna. Okay? And still, like, even if Draupadi goes as a servant over there, still her beauty is not unnoticeable, right? The queen gets a little hesitant that, okay, like, I will become insecure if I keep this woman with me. And someday, what if my king loses his loyalty towards me seeing this lady? What will I do then? Then Draupadi very humbly says that, I was the attendant of Draupadi. Probably I can give you tips, beauty tips, because I know all her beauty tips. I know how she wears her hair. I know what kind of clothes she wears. I know how... See, she can handle 5 men. She knows how to handle 5 men. I know such tips. Probably I can give you all of them. You have to handle just one man, right? So she says all these things. So she's charming too. Draupadi is charming also. And Sudeshna is like, okay, if you're going to tell me all these things, you please become my personal attendant. So like this full year, okay, they live in exile, incognito. Arjun starts teaching dance to Uttara, Virat Naresh's daughter. And finally what happens, Sudeshna's elder brother Kichak, who is also the commander-in-chief of Virat's army, he comes after his expedition. Like he will also go and increase the territory. He'll go across the kingdom, solve problems.
But you said it is peaceful.
No, like peaceful in the sense he had gone by his own volition to get probably more to increase his territory, or to possibly solve whatever big small problem was there. So basically he was like the main person who would do all the work of the kingdom, and the king would just sit and twiddle his thumbs on the throne. That's all. But the main king's work actually this Kichak used to do. And Kichak was considered a very strong man. Like he was in the leagues of Bhim and Karna and all of those people. So what happens? He lays eyes on Draupadi, and he's enamored by her beauty. He goes and tells Sudeshna, you send your I want your personal attendant, the lady who is your personal attendant, to become my personal attendant, to become my personal servant. So Sudeshna is conflicted. She's like, because she knows what her brother means by that. So she is conflicted as to how she should say this to Draupadi, to Sairandri. Her name is Sairandri at that time. But she goes and tells it. Okay, she is also, a sister, a doting sister. Like she can't say no to her brother basically. So she goes and she feels ashamed. I would say, and she goes and tells Sairandri that there's something I need you to take to my brother. Like I have something to give him. Can you take it to him? So Draupadi has known what the ulterior motives are here. She can see it, and then she says, "Can't you ask someone? Like I have to just take something to him, right? Can't you ask someone else to do that? So Sudeshna very firmly says, no, Serandri, I want you to go. Then Serandri says, after this, ma'am, Queen Sudeshna, after this, whatever happens with your brother, please don't blame me for that. Only two people will be to blame, you and your brother. Because I'm telling you, I'm giving you a chance that please send someone else. Okay? Please send someone else, because I can think, I can foresee that something wrong will happen with me if I go to that man's chamber alone. Because I know how he looks at me. But Sudeshna is like, no, I want you to do. Then she takes whatever box she had given to Serandri to take to Kichak's chamber. And as usual, as we know, Kichak tries to molest Serandri. He even, like, she tries to escape him. She even goes to the main darbar, where, like, right in front of the king, she goes there. And she tries to ask for help, like, right in front of the king. Kichak is so powerful that in front of the king, he's molesting Draupadi. He's trying to touch her. He's trying to hold her. The king is so powerless, he's not able to do anything. He has hung his head in shame. He's not able to go and help him. There's no man who's able to help Draupadi over there. Yudhishthir is there as the personal advisor. Arjun is able to hear the cries. And Bhim is able to hear the gossip that what Kichak is doing in the main darbar, in the kitchen. He's able to hear this. But Bhim actually comes out there to, beat up Kichak. So that's when Yudhishthir stops him and says, I understand that something wrong is happening to our wife, but if you go and help her out, we will not be able to come out of this exile. We will get identified. Do you want that to happen? So calm down right now. Then Bhim is angry and he leaves from there. Then he comes back to the darbar. Yudhishthir comes back to the darbar, and there, Draupadi just declares in the sabha that you people don't know who my husbands are. Okay, and she looks at Kichak and says that, you know what, if tomorrow's sunrise, if you will see, I will stop living this life. She is done with these stupid men trying to hurt her. Okay, and that is when Yudhishthir goes to her, calls her Serandri, says that, okay, I think after what has happened here today, news will travel fast, and your 5 Gandharva husbands will understand, will know what has happened with you. We'll see what they can do. But right now, as you can see, our king is helpless. See. Bak kar rahi hu.
Yeah.
AC lage de room.
Yeah. So Draupadi challenges this way to Kichak that I am going to make sure of what I've said would happen to you. And now she secretly meets Bhim, and Bhim tells her that I know what has happened with you, and I promise that I will make sure that this guy does not see tomorrow's sun. At that time, like I had said, Arjun learns music also and comes, right? So he learns to play he used to instruct Uttara by playing the dholak. Okay, when he used to give her taan for the dance, he would do it on the dholak. So they make a plan. Now he goes to Draupadi goes to Kichak and tells him that I'm sorry that I didn't understand how much you liked me. Come tonight to my chamber. I'll be waiting for you. So Kichak is like, I have scored it. Now I'll do whatever I feel like with her. Now next he goes to his chamber and he sees that there's someone wearing the same sari as Draupadi was wearing, and head is covered. So Draupadi speaks up from behind a wall that, why don't you come closer and all of that stuff. So when he goes and he picks up the ghungat, that time Bhim pounces on Kichak. And they start having a duel. Basically, Bhim is trying to kill him. That's all, to kill Kichak. At that time, Arjun starts playing the dholak loudly, so that the whatever commotion happens the sound does not travel. It gets overpowered by his dholak sound. So eventually Bhim kills Kichak, and Draupadi's honor is not restored but saved. And
No, it's
this
more like
news-
revenge.
Yeah, he's like he avenges for Draupadi very well. And now this news travels to Hastinapur that Kichak got killed. So now Duryodhana and Karna start using their brain, and they were like, bingo, we have caught where the Pandavas are. Because they list out a few names that these are the people who are capable of killing Kichak today. Out of all these people, only we don't know where Bhim is. And I think this event will tell us where Bhim is. These people make a plan, go and tell Dhritarashtra that we want to attack Matsyadesh. And now they, when they go and attack the first time, Uttar goes. Uttar is like, I don't need any army or anything, be it Hastinapur or whatever. I am going to be the, I am the heir apparent of this particular kingdom. I will go single-handedly and I will save. Okay. Here Arjun, his name was Brihannala. He says that, okay, Rajkumar, you want to go, let me be your charioteer. At that point in time, actually, the Virat Naresh, he had already gone in some expedition that time. So there was nobody to sanction like how much part of the army is going to go and all of that. Like there was nobody to authorize all that. So now, and the commander-in-chief, Kichak, he was dead. Probably the new commander-in-chief was not declared yet to take up this responsibility. So Uttar says, I am not going to wait for anybody. Brihannala, come with me. When he goes there, he sees that, like he gets scared, seeing the sea of army that Hastinapur had gotten with them. And Bhishma, Guru Drona, Guru Kripacharya, Dushasan, Duryodhan and Karna, these people had gone. So Uttar starts running. He gets out of the chariot and he starts running. Then Arjun picks him up, okay, puts him on the seat of the charioteer and tells him, come with me. Take me where I'm going to tell you to take. He takes him to a big banyan tree. He asks Uttar, you climb the banyan tree, there's a big potli, you get that down. So he gets that potli down. And when they open it, all the weapons of the Pandavas are there. Like Arjun's Gandiv is there, Bhim's mace is there, Nakul and Sahadev's swords are there, and Yudhishthir's bow and bhala is there. Spear is there. And he gets a little bit emotional and he says, like, you know what, let's not go out and fight today. Let's make them wait. Let the sun go down for today. Let the next sun rise, then we will go and face them. Uttar doesn't question. Till now, he has identified, like when the sun rises next day, he asks, Brihannala, you are no ordinary human being. Who are you? And why do you know the location of these weapons? Then Arjun reveals that I am Arjun.
1 year is over.
1 year is over. That's why he makes him wait for that one evening.
Mm.
That's why he doesn't go and fight also. He lets Uttar take the fall for that day. And when Uttar can't fight, he makes him wait. Next day, he tells Uttar, okay, now the next day has started. The sun has risen. Let's go. You be my charioteer. And he takes out his Gandiv and he goes out onto the battlefield. And now, when he goes there, so like I told you, right, every
So if
bow,
1 year was so close, then what's the point of them trying to find Pandavas here.
Yeah, so this also I would like to clarify that basically here also Duryodhan does a cheating. He says that basically see, these people used to follow the lunar calendar, right? Now the lunar calendar can be read differently by different people because see, we are considering one day to be over using our clocks. They used to consider the day to be over based on the moon's position. So they would read the Panchang, which is called, right? They would read that, and based on the moon's position and the sun's position, they would consider, okay, this is Surya Asta, this is Surya Uday, like that they would consider. So Arjun's and everybody's normal person's calculation, according to a normal person's calculation at that time, Arjun had come out on the correct day. Like this was Duryodhan's last ditch effort to, break their incognito exile just one day, with one day left. So now Arjun had very correctly calculated, and he went on the day, like on the day next to the day that the incognito exile got over.
So they covered the moon thing as well, moon calendar.
Yes, according to the lunar calendar only, Arjun did like the calculation, and he said that okay, now the new day has started and my incognito exile is over, and that's why he exposes himself to Uttar, na? And Uttar also, so here there's a small anecdote that a small instance that Uttar doesn't believe him. He's like, why would Arjun come here? Like, what is there in my kingdom that you people came to take exile here? Then he asks Arjun, you tell me the 10 names of Arjun. Do you know the 10 names? So Arjun also tells him the 10 names. All of that happens. He proves that he's Arjun. Now, when Arjun goes, he fights. Before fighting, he plucks the string off. Like, he just gives one pluck to the string of his Gandhi. Because every bow is stringed differently. So when you just in bare air, when you pluck the string, it gives a certain sound. And that is also different. So Gandhi's distinct string plucking, that sound that came out, Bhishma identified. He gets a little emotional. And seeing him emotional, Duryodhan is like, yeah, I am confident that this person is Duryodhan, who is standing.
Duryodhan?
Is Arjun, who is standing. Duryodhan is very clear about that. And then Duryodhan screams. He is like happy. He thinks that he has broken their incognito exile. Then Bhishma tells him, news flash, son. The incognito exile got over yesterday itself. Arjun has done a correct thing by coming today. Probably they were taking shelter here in this country, and now that you cunningly have come here and you have attacked them, he's trying to protect them. And Bhishma didn't know the reason why these people are even attacking the Matsya Desh. Just that Dhritarashtra has told, my son is wanting to go on a certain war, you please accompany him. So Bhishma is enraged. He's like, don't do all this, your childish acts over here. Kripacharya, Dronacharya and we all three are saying that their incognito exile is over. So kindly, let's go back. And when we go back, make arrangements to give Pandavas back their kingdom, as promised. Duryodhana is like, no. Again, like every time, how you are unfair with me, you are unfair with me now also. He says, he chides Bhishma. Now what happens? They have a war. Arjun finally, because he's not able to take up the heat, it happens that he's alone and everyone tries to start firing. When he's not able to take up the heat, he launches an arrow which has the sleeping gas in it. So he puts all the Kauravas to sleep and they escape from there. And what he does is he takes their robe, their upper robe. He tells Uttar, you disrobe them. Let them lie like this. At least what will happen basically what he's trying to do is, if they are disrobed, they will not try to wage another war like that, right? They will try to run off to their country. So he's like, disrobe them and you bring those clothes. We will take for Uttara's dolls. Okay, for the princess's dolls. Let's take those clothes for her. And when they go back, by now, everyone in Matsya Desh knows that, okay, this is the Pandavas themselves. It is Draupadi herself. Sudeshna is absolutely humbled. She is like, I can never imagine that a queen of your stature was my maid for a whole year. Okay, and she apologizes to her that if I've ever spoken to you, badly, thinking that you're just a servant. So that happens, and they actually set up Abhimanyu and Uttara's wedding. Okay, that alliance is set up now. And now starts the process to get back Indraprastha. So they go back to Panchal, Draupadi's place, and their first messenger of peace who is sent is the prime minister of Panchal. He goes and he tries to reason in Hastinapur that the incognito exile duration is over. Why don't you give them back their kingdom? You stay in your kingdom. Let everything be peaceful. But Duryodhan is adamant. He does not want to agree that no, you people are all wrong. You people don't know how to calculate. You people just want to take Pandava's side. And like every time you think they are correct and you just want good things to happen to them. Everything good that has happened to me, first my father reversed it, and now that again I'm trying to get everything, you people are collectively saying that the incognito exile is not over. Duryodhan gets angry. Now here the Shanti Dut, who was the messenger of peace from Drupad's kingdom, he challenges. He says, if Bhishma, Pitamaha Bhishma, Guru Dronacharya or Guru Kripacharya, out of these three, if any one of them even says that the incognito exile duration was not over, I will silently go back. I am taking the guarantee on behalf of the Pandavas that if any of these three people says that the incognito exile is not over, I will go and tell the Pandavas to go on a 12-year exile again and 1 year of incognito exile again. But Guru Kripacharya gets up and he says that it was over. The incognito exile duration was over. Arjun came outside the incognito exile window and he fought us. And Duryodhan was like, what? So his dialogue was like, whichever thali, like jis thali mein khate ho, usi mein hi ched karte ho. Like whoever is giving you employment, you are standing against them only. Okay. He is like, I am not going to accept it. You go and tell your Pandavas to go for exile again. They are not getting anything. Now finally, Krishna decides to come as the messenger of peace. So here, when Krishna is coming, is like, he's making strategy that what I should tell, how I should open, what all terms and conditions I should put. If they don't give Indraprastha, what is your backup offer? How do we maintain compromise? All of that. Then Draupadi comes to him and says that, Keshav, don't forget what they did to me. Like, my husbands, they can forget probably what has happened to them. They are like very nice men. They will try to maintain peace. But don't settle for less than what my husbands deserve. My husbands and I deserve. Because you need to remember what has happened to me. Probably that will motivate you. That you get the offer that we deserve. Nothing less than that. So Krishna comes. He very humbly lives in Vidur's home. He declines Duryodhan's offer of having lunch with him because he does not trust Duryodhan that he might mix something in his food. So he lives with Vidur. The next day in the Sabha, he comes and he puts his pitch that, incognito exile was over. Again, the same thing. He starts with the same thing, that the incognito exile was over. Please give Pandavas back their Indraprastha. Give everything back, basically. Again, Duryodhan's same tirade. Like, tell me something new. I know that it was not over. You're also saying the wrong thing. Now, Shri Krishna says one very, another thing. He says, okay, you don't want to give Indraprastha? Fine. You want it all to yourself? Fine. Give 5 villages to the Pandavas. 1 for each brother. You give 5 villages. he tells the name of those 5 villages also. Duryodhan says, I will not give them land the size of a needle. I am like 5 villages they want. I won't even give them like एक सुई की नोक जितनी भूमि भी मैं उन्हें नहीं दूंगा. This is what he said. That the size of a needle also, that much land also I'm not going to give. And then Shri Krishna gets very angry. And he looks at the elders of the Sabha and he tells them, like, what kind of an heir apparent are you people choosing for yourself? Like, do you even bother about the kingdom of Hastinapur? This person you want him to be the king of your kingdom? And then Duryodhan gets irked and says to his soldiers that get chains and tie up this gwala, tie up this shepherd, this cowherd, sorry. And like Krishna was actually leaving the darbar that time. Like he was angry, he told his piece and he was like, God save you all. He started walking down. That was when Duryodhana asked his soldiers to tie him up. And that was when Krishna showed his Vishwarupam in the darbar itself. Okay, like when they come to chain him, they try to he shows his Vishwarupam, and at that time only Bhishma and Dronacharya, I think Bhishma and Vidur, these 2 people could see his Vishwarupam. Nobody
What about
else.
others?
They were all blinded by the light that was coming out of him. So like basically you need to have that level of wisdom and intellect to be even able to perceive his form that way. So everyone else were like, they went crazy, like they were not able to see anything, the light shone so bright. Only Vidur and Bhishma, they were like completely amazed by what the sight that they saw. And Krishna was like, okay, now we'll see you in battlefield only. Now the war starts. Right before the war, Arjun has anxiety. The Bhagavad Gita is narrated by the Lord, by Lord Krishna, and it is just a text today which is having just questions and answers. Questions by Arjun, answers by Krishna. Again, Krishna by the end of the Gita, he again shows the Vishwarupam to Arjun. And at this point, before the war had started, Dhritarashtra was lamenting that now the war has started. How will I see what my sons are doing on the battlefield? So then Vedvyas was visiting, and it's the same concern Dhritarashtra told to Vedvyas. So Vedvyas said, okay, you want your sight back? Okay, I have the power to give you your sight back. Do you want it? So then Dhritarashtra was like, no, I don't want. I lived all my life without sight. Why will I need it now? And just to see destruction. So he's like, okay, fine. You don't want to face your son's deaths? Fine. I'll give Sanjay like Dur Drishti so that he can see what's happening in the battlefield sitting from here, and he can narrate the whole story, like the whole happenings to you. So now the war starts, and firstly Bhishma is killed. So the first commander-in-chief of the Kaurava army was Bhishma, and the first commander-in-chief of the Pandava army was Drishtadyumna. And one big lesson from this war is that quality is always better than quantity, because the ratio between Kauravas to Pandavas was 11:8 Akshahuni. One Sena, one complete Sena is called one Akshahuni. Akshahuni means one level of infantry, one level of horsemen, one level of Ardharathis, one level of Maharathis, like that. So that is called a complete Akshahuni Sena. Okay. There's one very beautiful instance which I forgot to tell. Right before the war starts, everyone is trying to get their sides. Okay, everyone is trying to get the kings to their sides. Everyone is going and asking for help. All of that is happening. Now, left is Krishna. So both Duryodhan and Arjun reach Krishna's chamber to ask him for help. And Krishna had taken an oath that he will not pick up weapons for this war. He said that already there are so many warriors, already there's going to be so much destruction. I will not pick up the weapons unless and until necessary. I think I will not pick up weapons at all. Okay, this was his oath and everyone was aware of it. Now Arjun and Duryodhan, both of them reach his chambers, and Krishna says to them that I have two choices for you. One is me, totally weaponless. I'm not going to pick up any weapons like I had told. And the other help that I can offer you is my Narayani Sena. So Narayani Sena is a complete, like it is one Akshahuni, Narayani Sena. Okay. And he says that along with my Commander-in-Chief Kritvarma, you'll get the whole package. What do you want? So, because Arjun is the younger one, Shri Krishna says to Duryodhan, let him choose first. Then you can choose. To Duryodhan. So then Arjun says that I have come to ask you for help. Keshav, I don't want any other thing. Okay? I just want you to be my charioteer and guide me through the war. I don't want anything else. And Duryodhan is elated actually. He just wants the full army. So he was like, he made a, pretended to make a face and said, okay, fine, my younger brother has chosen. So let me choose the other choice. So Duryodhan got what he wanted, Arjun got what he wanted. So Krishna's army actually fights from Duryodhan's side, from the Kaurava side, and Krishna himself fights from Arjun's side.
But he's not fighting as such.
No, he's not fighting. He takes Arjun's side. And very clearly he tells people that I am on the Pandavas' side because dharma is on their side. They have not broken rules. They have not been unfair to people, okay, of the other side. So between the two sides, if I have to choose, I will choose where dharma is, where righteousness is. I am not going to choose where adharma is. Okay, all of that. And then finally he war happens. First Bhishma dies because, like I said, Amba had cursed him, right? Amba had taken a promise that even if I have to take multiple rebirths, I will be the cause of your death. So it is Shikhandi. Shikhandi is Draupadi's brother. Okay, Draupadi and Drishtadyumna's brother. Okay, so Shikhandi is in the war. That day, Shikhandi has positioned his chariot next to Arjun's. So Bhishma that day gets killed because he said that I will never point my weapon towards a woman, and he knows it's Amba. So he doesn't point his arrow towards Shikhandi. He starts pointing his arrow somewhere else. And at this moment, Arjun keeps shooting at him. And because he's shooting elsewhere, he's not shooting towards Arjun's direction only, he's shooting elsewhere. So he gets a bed of arrows in that process. And first Bhishma gets killed. Bhishma is on the bed of arrows. Second, Dronacharya. With Dronacharya, there's this famous instance that how he was killed. Basically, this rumor went through the battlefield that Ashwathama is killed. So Dronacharya was like, can't be. So he comes to Yudhishthir and asks him, you never lie, Dharmraj Yudhishthir, tell me, is my son really dead? Is my son really killed? So right before that, actually, Bhim kills an elephant of the name Ashwathama. So then Yudhishthir says, Ashwathama hataha iti. He says this part loudly and he murmurs this part. Narova kunjare. Meaning Ashwathama is killed. He says this part, like he proclaims it, but he murmurs this part, that elephant or hue.
But he
Okay.
can't hear Murmur, is it?
Yeah, Dronacharya couldn't hear that. Like, he couldn't hear this part, that elephant or human. He just heard Ashwatthama is killed. He just loses his mind out of distress. He's like, my son is dead. He instantly is like, I can't live this life anymore. I'm not going to be a part of this war. He gives up on the weapons and he takes Samadhi right there. That was when Drishtadyumna, so the scene is like Dronacharya has left all his weapons, he has done pranam to all his weapons, and he has taken a corner of the battlefield and he has sat down to do dhyan. That moment, these people are just thinking to, just to clarify to him that which Ashwatthama is killed, they're just thinking to do that. Drishtadyumna comes from behind, takes out his sword and chops off his head, Dronacharya's head. Now Dronacharya is dead. So right before Dronacharya dying, from the Pandava side, Abhimanyu is dead. Abhimanyu was killed in a very brutal manner. He was killed in a very wrong manner. Bhishma had set up rules for the war that only a Rathi will fight a Rathi, only a person who is cavalry will fight cavalry, someone who is on the horse will fight a horse. This equality should be there on the battlefield. Also, once the sun is down, we will blow the conch of the day's ending and we will stop the war. The war will start next day early morning. Bhishma had made certain rules. And he said that 1:1 war should happen, not 1:many or many:1. That should not happen. But in Abhimanyu's case, 7 Maharathis together, they killed him.
But there's no one to enforce the rules, right?
Yes, so whatever rules were being followed was being followed out of respect for Bhishma. Because Bhishma is a timeless warrior even of that time, right? So yes, everyone out of respect was agreeing with him, like they had listened to his rules. But slowly these rules were broken one after the other. These rules were definitely broken. Okay. Now Ghatotkach comes. So till Bhishma was fighting, Karna was not fighting. Okay, there was a big story behind that also. It hurt Karna's ego basically. He said that till the time he is alive, basically till the time he is fighting the war, Bhishma is fighting the war, I will not fight the war. So first 10 days he doesn't fight Karna. Okay. Now, so basically Bhishma is dead, Abhimanyu is dead, Dronacharya is dead. Now who is the next commander-in-chief after Dronacharya? Karna. So when Karna becomes the commander-in-chief, Ghatotkach comes. And this time Pandavas broke the rule of not fighting after the sundown. This time they attacked after sundown again, the Pandava army. So this time, after seeing Ghatotkach, Karna uses one of his divine weapons to kill Ghatotkach. So while dying as well, Ghatotkach keeps increasing his body size and he tries to fall on the Kaurava army and cover as much area as possible and trample as many soldiers as possible. So now, finally, Karna and Arjun come face to face. And Karna, before coming for the war, had met Kunti. And Kunti had come and told him that I am your mother, if you don't know. And I had recognized you the day you came and challenged Arjun. I know that you and Arjun don't like each other, but they are your brothers. Okay? And please don't kill my sons. So Karna was absolutely disgusted by his mother. He said that you've come to me after all these years. You abandoned me when I was a child. But now that you've come to me, I can just promise you one thing. To the world, you're known as the mother of 5 sons. I can just guarantee you this much, that you'll be known as the mother of 5 sons. Don't make me choose between me or Arjun. You know what the answer is going to be. So I can just promise you this much, that you will be known as the mother of 5 sons. That's all. And now when Karna and Arjun came face to face, that day, one of the curses that Karna had gotten from Parshuram came true. Basically, Parshuram had cursed Karna that you cheated and took my knowledge from me. The day you will most need this knowledge, that day you will not be able to use it. Basically, he took the Brahmastra knowledge from Parshuram, and Parshuram cursed him for this. And then, the day Karna had to launch his Brahmastra, he couldn't remember the mantra to manifest it. Okay, and what happens is, right when all of this is happening, like he's losing his knowledge, like he's forgetting everything, that was when Arjun breaks one of his wheels of his chariot, and then he Karna gets down and tells Arjun that, Arjun, I'm getting down to fix my wheel, you better not shoot at me. And Arjun stops, he doesn't shoot. But here Shri Krishna says, what are you waiting for, Parth? Should I speak or?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for, Parth? This man, he's talking about rules, when he was the one who disrespected your wife to an extent that is unimaginable for a woman. He's talking about rules. He is the guy who was a part of killing your son, but he was breaking rules and killing your son. He's the one asking to follow rules. Why are you standing? Kill him right now. Shoot your arrow. So that was when Arjun actually hesitated. Like, he was like, no, he's on the ground, I'm on the chariot, right? And Krishna was like, to hell with rules, they have broken several, you can break this one. And Arjun fires the arrow, which cuts Karna's head, which beheads Karna. And after this, Duryodhan was absolutely disheartened. He had lost all hopes now that his best friend, like the only person who was encouraging Duryodhan throughout Mahabharata to have the war, was Karna. Now that Karna was dead, he was absolutely distraught. And right before, the very next day, Dushasan gets killed. And Bhim, he tears open Dushasan's chest and drinks the blood. Because he had taken pratigya during in dice game itself. And another pratigya which he had taken was breaking the thigh of Duryodhan, because he had exposed his thigh to Draupadi to sit on it. So finally Duryodhan gets scared and distraught, and by this time both the mothers had gone to the battlefield already. So they had started, I think by the 10th day, not 10th day, when Bhishma got the bed of arrows to pay respects itself, these two women had gone there. So they stayed in the battlefield itself. Like everyone, all their wives, the Pandavas' wives and Kauravas' wives, they all came down there. So Gandhari calls Duryodhan and says to him, I think tomorrow might be one of the last days of the battle. I have already lost all my 99 sons. You are my only son left. Do one thing. Go, take a bath in the Ganga and come back to me in the same state as you were when you were a baby, when you were born to me. Basically, she hinted at him to come completely bare-bodied, not even undergarments. She told him, you take a bath and come completely bare-bodied in front of me. So when Duryodhan goes to take a bath in the Ganga, that time Shri Krishna comes, and he comes to apologize to Gandhari. And Gandhari was like, why have you come to apologize to me? what good will it do? It's you. It's if you had wanted, you could have stopped this war, but you let it happen. How my whole dynasty is gone, no? 2 generations of my dynasty is gone. Same way your full dynasty will get killed, and how my dynasty got killed by killing our own, right? Your dynasty will also die the same way. So she curses Krishna. Okay, now a person can ask me that how can a god get cursed, right? And how did he accept a curse also? So this is what dharma is about, that you can be as righteous as you want. There will be actions that you will choose whose consequences you'll have to face. Krishna also made choices which were unethical. Krishna made a choice to support the war. Eventually, he had to pay the consequence for it as well through this curse. So,
But it seems like everyone is cursing everyone and it is going to come true. Like,
yeah.
then anyone can say anything, right?
So, but you need to have that level of probably that level of wisdom, or that level of what can we call that quality in a person, that it makes you that important that your words come true. For example, Durvasa is known to give curses left, right, and center. But
like
then
only powerful
yeah,
people
and it's
can
what
get-
kind of power? What kind of, like, is it does it come just from wisdom? That's what actually even I don't have the answer for it. That basically as a kid I was told that they could do a lot of penance. Through lot of penance they got this ability that whatever they said could happen. They could manifest things, right? So probably you have to gather certain level of wisdom, certain level of consciousness to be able to manifest through words, right?
So finally,
Okay, so this part, what happens, Duryodhan, like Krishna is cursed by Gandhari. Duryodhan is coming back from the Ganga after taking a bath. So they meet on their way. Krishna meets Duryodhan out on his way. And he sees Duryodhan is completely naked. And he looks at him and he looks at Gandhari's tent. He's like, are you going to your mother's tent like this? I mean, don't you know that you're a grown man? Do you think you should go like this to your mother? So Duryodhan actually feels a little bit embarrassed. He actually wraps banana leaves around his nether region and then he goes to Gandhari. Now, after years, Gandhari has opened her blindfold. And this lady, probably, I don't know, again, how much strength this lady had, that through her eyes, she wanted to give all her strength to her son, to make him of steel. Basically, she wanted to give that much strength to her son, that her son's body becomes invincible to any kind of harm. The only body part that her eyes couldn't be laid on was his thighs, like this portion, the thighs and the hip portion. And she gets really angry. She's like, why don't you listen to me? Like, why didn't you listen to my instructions? I told you that come as the day you were born. Why did you cover that area? Now, apart from that area, the rest of your body has become Vajra, has become of steel. Now, you have become invincible if anybody attacks you on any other part. But if anybody targets your thighs, you're gone. But then Duryodhan tells his mother that, mother, don't worry. Anyways, like, I'm going to do Gada Yuddha. I anyways use the Gada. And in a Gada Yuddha, you can't hit someone below the waist. So anyways, this area can't be attacked. So then Gandhari is like, you know what, I can't deal with you anymore. You please leave. You don't listen to me. You didn't listen to me. You don't listen to anybody. Please leave. Now, next day, Duryodhan has actually, he's gone to the bottom of Saraswati river or I'm forgetting which river it was. Basically goes to the river bed, and he does samadhi there. Okay, like basically he just wanted to get away from the world. And these people, Pandavas, they find out that he's at the riverbed of this particular river, and they go and they start challenging him. That what, you've gone and hidden now? Now that all your warriors are dead, now you're hidden? And hearing this, Duryodhan is like, he comes out and he tells these people that, you know what, I am tired. I have given fire to 99 of my brothers, to my best friend, to my Pitama Bhishma, to my Guru Drona. I am tired. I have lost enough people. That's why I was just going down to rejuvenate. So then Bhim was like, he challenges him to a duel, and then right before that, Balram enters the scene. He finds out that Pandavas have gone towards the riverbank searching for Duryodhan. So he comes there, and he finds out that both his students, Duryodhan and Bhim, are going to have a duel. So he says that, this is going to be a proud moment as a teacher for me. I'll get to see two of my best students have a duel with each other. Okay, and they start fighting. Now Bhim gets exhausted trying to attack Duryodhan, because his rest of the body has become Vajra, right? He keeps hitting him, and Duryodhan keeps, he's unaffected. He has absolutely no sign of any scar or anything, and Bhim is getting mauled by Duryodhan like anything. He's getting defeated, he's close to getting defeated. And that was when Krishna points at his thigh. Okay, he points at Bhim, that thigh. And again, Krishna has asked one of the Pandavas to break a rule. So now, right then, Duryodhan lunges actually. He lunges to, land a blow from top. So when he has jumped up, Bhim has hurled his mace in a direction that hit his thigh. And Duryodhan falls in pain from mid-air. So now, because and now Bhim breaks both his thighs. And he says that, you remember, right? This was one of my pratigyas that I had taken. This is for my Panchali. This is for Draupadi. Okay, I told you I'll break your thigh, and I have done it. Now you do whatever. Now you perish, you live with this pain, it's up to you. And Balram gets angry. He takes out his hull and he charges towards Bhim. He said, you've almost killed Duryodhan, now let me do the honors of killing Bhim. And that was when Krishna shouts at Balram that, what dharma are you talking about? When the war was going to start, because you couldn't pick sides, you went out on a tirth-yatra. When the war has ended, in the last leg, now you're coming and teaching your students about dharma, adharma. Where were you when Duryodhan was doing all these wrongs to the Pandavas? And that time, Duryodhan screams and says that, you people call yourselves as dharmi. You people are the biggest adharmis that I have seen. You have done, you have broken the rules of the mace duel. You've hit me below the waist. Nobody does that. You call yourself a Kshatriya. All that he starts abusing. And then Shri Krishna says, now you remember about dharma. Where did your dharma go when you were disturbing Draupadi? Where did your dharma go when you were trying to kill these people in the wax palace? And that was when Krishna says that dharmo rakshati dharmaha.
No, dharmo rakshati
rakshita. Sorry, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. So he says that you will try to be an adharmi, you will try to harm dharma. Now dharma has come back and hit you back in your language only. You want to twist the rules every time. Now we twisted the rules on you. Done. And now when the war is over, these people go back and lastly they have to meet Dhritarashtra. They actually went to meet Dhritarashtra to apologize. Now Dhritarashtra was ready.
Apologize for what?
For killing his sons.
It is a war.
Exactly. I get that. And basically they go firstly to get back their kingdom from him and also to apologize that you know what, all this happened. And yeah, one more big detail, that how war can be so like it brings a lot of damage. So what happened, Ashwathama, he finds out, right, that Duryodhan has been killed in this brutal way. He decides to take vengeance for his father also and for Duryodhan also. So he just overhears two soldiers speaking that now that we have won the war, after so long these 5 brothers are sleeping in the same tent. So he thinks that okay, the Pandavas are sleeping in that tent. So first he goes and kills Drishtadyumna in his sleep, and next he goes and shoots 5 arrows. The next morning these people find out that the 5 Pandavas' sons have gotten killed in their sleep. He assumed that he has killed the 5 Pandavas, but their sons got killed. So now Uttara was pregnant by now, and Uttara was almost going into labor. So here these Pandavas have gone on a hunt for Ashwathama for doing such a despicable act of killing their sons in sleep.
Who is
killing
Uttara?
Uttara is Abhimanyu's wife.
Okay.
I'd mentioned, right? Right after the incognito
Yeah.
exile, they got them married. So now Abhimanyu is killed. All the 5 Pandavas are killed. Ghatotkach is killed. The other sons of Arjun and Bhim were killed during the war. So one whole generation wiped out. Kaurava's side, 2 generations wiped out. Like Duryodhan, his 100 brothers, and each of his brothers' sons, all killed. And finally, when Ashwathama was hunted down, he had reached Vedvyasa's ashram. Basically to devote himself in penance. Basically he was like, I did a despicable thing. I'm a warrior. I shouldn't have killed another warrior in his sleep, but I had to avenge my friend, my father. So he goes to Vedvyas, and Vedvyas says, okay, you've come to do Pashyatap, fine, you've come to do your penance, fine, what do you want to do? And right then Arjun and the other Pandavas, they reach there and they are furious. And that time Ashwathama, he launches the Brahmastra at them. So Krishna says to Arjun, why are you waiting? You also launch your Brahmastra. But Ashwathama is a dumb fuck. He only knew how to launch a Brahmastra. He didn't know how to call it back. So now Vedvyas gets angry. He goes and stops both the arrows from colliding against each other. And Brahmastra is the equivalent of a nuclear weapon. Okay. So at that time, Vedvyasa has stopped both the weapons, and he scolds both of them. And he scolds Krishna also. Like, you want what? What do you want? You want the god to make another world or what? Do you know what 2 nuclear weapons colliding will do? And then he tells Ashwathama, take back your Brahmastra. Arjun, take back your Brahmastra. Talk it out and you sort it. Anyways, he has come here to do penance. Give him whatever punishment fits. Because Ashwathama also had a mani on his forehead, which because of which he didn't feel hungry or sleep. Okay, so Ashwathama was like, I don't know how to take back the Brahmastra. Arjun takes his Brahmastra back. Then Vedvyasa is like, are you stupid? Then why did you launch it if you didn't know how to take it back? Now you redirect it in some other direction where if there is damage, like Mother Earth should be able to take that damage. That's all. Vedvyasa is like, you can't target it towards people, right? You can't target it towards inhabited lands. So then Ashwatthama says, okay, fine, I will redirect it. I will redirect it to the side where it kills the seed of Pandavas. So he redirects the Brahmastra towards Uttara. And it goes and hits her womb. Okay, so she has a stillbirth after that. Basically, yeah, the child that is born is stillborn because of that weapon. And now what happens? Krishna is so furious. He tells Ashwatthama that, like, the despicable thing that you've done, like, what kind of a human being are you? First you kill people in their sleep, then you are killing an unborn child. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what has this war done to you? So then Ashwatthama, he realizes his mistake, and he says, what do you want me to do? Please suggest me a penance. Then Krishna says, this money that's there on your forehead, you don't deserve it. Give that money. And I curse you that this particular wound, because of the removal of the money, will never get healed. It will keep on burning and hurting you. It will keep on bleeding like this throughout your life, and it will keep on reminding of the despicable acts that you've done, of the kind of human being you were. So this is your penance. Live with what you've done. You have no escape of dying. And he takes that money, and using that money, the kid was revived to life. And that kid grows up to become King Parikshit, who was the last in the dynasty of the Pandavas. And when the Pandavas take the throne, Dhritarashtra, his wife, and Gandhari, Kunti, and I think, these three people, they leave for the forest. Because they were old, their last days, they wanted to just take God's name and leave the earth. So this is how the war ends. And when after the war ends, they go and meet Bhishma for one last time to pay respects to him. And Bhishma finally says that, okay, Hastinapur is in good hands, now I can die. So he takes his last breath after that. So,
That was the summary.
You said all important events.
Yeah.
So many important events.
So Mahabharata is obviously so big, right? Even if you just say the important things, it's going to take so much time. That was the ending of the first part of the Mahabharata podcast. The story itself is so complicated, and even when we tried to make a very short summary of it, it went on for 3 hours. And since I didn't know much of the story of Mahabharata, even I found it very interesting to listen for 3 hours. That's fine. So we had few more questions to deal with, which will be part of part 2 of the Mahabharata podcast. So stay tuned. And thank you, Prajukta, for being so patient and telling us about the complicated story of Mahabharata with so much depth, description, and passion. See you in the next episode.